you don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look at better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheap again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the fourth part of What If Naruto Enters Helluvaboss. Special note, this fanfic is written in a masterpiece of Bones Boy 15 on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. In all of his years working at St. Anne's Hospital, Dr. Ian Somna was pretty sure he'd seen it all. Every form of possible death, illness, and more, he'd witnessed it. That was without mentioning the occasional shenanigans the Seven Sins would involve themselves in. From the time Satan himself came down here to learn how to perform CPR because the princess had almost choked on a daisy on his watch, to the day that a distraught and dieting Beelzebub carried a nearly one-eyed hellhound into the after he got hit by a car. If there was a story that centered on a sin, a hellborn, a sinner or heck, even the stray necromancer that took a wrong turn, Dr. Somna had been there. So to hear the Duke of Gluttony claim he had a better idea on how to handle giving a hellhound a shot was interesting. It was always a fight and many of his interns would quit after the yearly mandatory lesson on how to do it. Granted, they were often mauled to the point they became his lifelong patients, but that was beside the point. Oh, do tell. Dr. Somna lowered the syringe and tilted his head. Just put the needle down first, and then hand me that bottle of bourbon, Lord Elzebub ordered. Amused and nowhere near green enough to try and do something stupid like argue with a member of a house of sin, the good doctor laid the trusty Helbe's vaccine on the counter and grabbed the bottle of Tom Planks that sat beside it. He approached and chuckled at the clear distrust the hellhound had for him. If the way she kept a wary gaze on him was anything to go by, she would learn he was one of the nicer veterinarians to work with in time. Once she hit her first century, he'd have to sign her over to Dr. Bark Bobber, and she'd be yearning for the day she could visit him again. Here you are, my lord, Dr. Somna said as he held the bottle out. Yeah, thanks. Don't call me that. Pa, the royals today had no respect for their positions. Lord Elzebub opened the bottle with his arms wrapped around his hellhound child. Certainly not a consort. Maybe this was a political power move to prove to the scion of Beelzebub they were still treasured. Lord Elzebub let out a purr fascinating to see the fabled fox-fiend magic at work into his hellhound's ear. Hey, Luna, wanna split a bottle of booze? Booze? The hellhound seemed to stir from her loathing of Dr. Somna's existence. She focused down on the bottle in Lord Elzebub's hand. She flicked her gaze up between the bottle and Dr. Somna. Bottle, Dr. Somna. Bottle. The poor dear looked between the two focuses in front of her and whined at the torn focus. Oh, Somna just realized where Lord Elzebub was going with this. He looked at the label, the 10,000 proof alcohol content that was approved by Beelzebub herself with an added warning about the strength, and wondered if he should warn the young royal. Yeah, I don't trust him either. The Duke growled. Oh, that was serious. Welp, can't win all over. So, maybe Somna won't warn him about the alcohol. If you take a sip, I'll watch him, and when I take a sip, you watch him. Does that sound like a plan? You'll watch him. Like a effin' hawk. The hellhound nodded and carefully took the bottle out of his hands. She put it up to her lips, nose crinkled from the sheer strength of the drink, before she took not one, not two, but 5 large gulps of the medically approved substance. She was out like a light. That won't kill her, will it? The Duke asked him. That was a valid concern. He'd never seen anyone drink that much, and he helped consult on VERYYYY Woндерфul's medical portion of her rehab. If anything happened while he was the head physician while this royal's child was in the hospital's care, he'd be in front of the board again. Best to play it safe. We'll start a saline drip before I give her the shot. VERYYYY was drafting up some final floor plans and/or required purchases for her new office in Imp City when her hellphone screamed. She sighed and set down her pen to pull it out. Oh, what? Kiki sent her another video link of a rising artist on VoxTube. Reason number 5, we have to get this hunk's junk. BU98, VERYYYY muttered. Hadn't someone suggested that video to her before? She shrugged and opened it up. Wow, that was a lot of rainbow-colored bunny ears, right? BU98 was that whimsy-themed party. The succubus pop star watched as they introduced various amateur artists. Wow, that girl had serious pipes. Whatever happened to her? That didn't matter in the long run. VERYYYY rolled her eyes, paused the video and jumped apps to fire another text back to her crewmate that was supposed to be getting food. Why am I watching this? Jump to 7-Eleven. Okay. Fine. She opened the video and jumped to the slot hot F. It's B's secret stud in a cute awkward teen phase. Oh, SHT. He had to be prime and ripe for the picking when he was that gangly and awkward. Damn it, let down parents. Why couldn't they had her a decade or so earlier? Ugh, and that cute little toga that did little to hide his budding physique. What a F show. Then a piano started playing, and the stud to be started to sing. I have often dreamed of a far-off place where a hero's welcome would be waiting for me. One. The piano picked up tempo, and a drum and guitar started to back his vocals. The performance went from slow, cookie-cutter, GG me tune to a punk bop that fit the vibe the BU events aimed for, a celebration of the individual regardless of species or sexuality. The whole time the video was on her screen, VERYYYY's eyes were on the scrawny boy that hadn't finished filling out. The way he smiled and had fun even as his voice broke at certain notes. At the end of the short, 3-minute song, he had the crowd pumped and ready for B's performance at the event, where she thanked the participants of the amateur and proudly introduced the little hunk for who he was. And the cute little SHT had the gall to be bashful. The video was well over 20 years old, which put him in her age range for sure, and the quality had been cleaned up by digital edits. She looked through the recommended videos to see if anything else hinted at him being present. And look at that, there was a nice compilation video that had snippets of him through the oh, no. This music was such a trash choice. Ugh, mute. The video got 10 times better the second she turned mouth smash off. Picture after picture of the hunk flashed in front of her. From scrawny teen bite to filled out snack, VERYYYY nibbled on her lip and slid down in her chair. She let her legs drift open and began to play with herself. I just can't wait to have you between my legs. Quiet, SHH. People are sleeping. Naruto shushed the giggly hellhound that was draped over his shoulders as he walked into the small apartment building on the west side of Imp City. After ensuring that she didn't accidentally shut her own liver down by the amount of medical alcohol she tossed back, Luna's leg was set, bound by a temporary cast that would fall off when the injury was healed and she was vaccinated by that F-off syringe. Furthermore, the staff even cleaned her up while he used an on-site shower to get the residual gray stag out of his coat. Their clothes were tagged, and they were dressed in a set of scrubs. Each the staff put Luna in blue while he took the offered green. Once Naruto took care of the obnoxious overcharged prices of the medical bill before he carried her home, using the house seal to return to the alley outside of Hotheads and then walk towards where she said she lived. It was a miracle that not only was she coherent enough to understand his question, but that the end of their busy day was the end of the day, if not a little after, which meant that anyone out right now wouldn't be missed if they tried anything. On an unrelated note, there was a sudden drop in the number of pickpockets and would-be rapists in Imp City that night. What a bizarre coincidence. SHH leap, Luna repeated with another giggle before she pushed her mouth to his cheek. That was a very wet, very drunk embrace. Whatever taste she had wasn't genuine, or if it was muddled by the stench of antiseptic and alcohol that clung to her coat, so he let the embrace go as just a drunk thing. It would seem that wasted Luna was very affectionate. For some reason, Naruto felt as if he should already know that. He stopped wondering about the lapse in his memory when Luna cooed at him. You're so sweet. Like candy. Yeah? He arched a brow. What kind of candy? Her tail started wagging faster just as it lagged from its drunken glee. Violet coconut candy. Sounds delicious. He chuckled and climbed the stairwell to get to her and Blitzo's apartment. 3rd floor? Cake. Hey, Luna leaned forward and rubbed her muzzle against his. Hey, are you single? Yeah, pretty sure I am. Whoa, so am I, she giggled and then gasped. Her hand slapped down on his shoulder. Holy effin' I just had the best idea since F. Do tell. Should date. She threw her arms up with a laugh. SHH. He reminded her after her elated cheer, twisting to catch her center of gravity before she tumbled out of his arms. She fell back into his shoulder and hugged his neck again. SHH? SHH, SHH, we should date. She whispered the words again and then giggled. Machem, if we were dating, then you wouldn't be single and I wouldn't be single. Oh, so you don't want to be single? TCH, F no. I've been trying to get laid for years and to start something longer. Naruto might have almost missed a step on the stairs. Luna yawned as her burst of happy drunk energy seemed to tap out. He gave it 5 minutes before it started up again. My effin' dad keeps clam jamming, the little red shithead. Always scares him off, and I'm pretty effin' sure he killed Sarah. I liked Sarah, damn it. Sarah sounds nice. Naruto nodded and made a note to himself to avoid asking about Sarah. He gagged when her arm tightened around his neck. Luna, too tight, thank you. Oh, no, I almost killed you. And now you won't date me. Ugh, I'm such a freak. Please let that be the alcohol and not how Luna actually sees herself, because if it's the latter, yeah, he's definitely taking her to Ozzy's next time. Her head nudged into his cheek as she whined and ripped his heart to shreds. I don't want to end up like my dad, so effin' sad and alone effin' rando married rich guys just to use their SHT. Oh no, don't start drunk crying. His ears dropped at the thought. He didn't do well with tears He slumped against a wall when his ears suddenly flared with pain. Luna! He glanced to the side to see her head tilted up and yep, his passenger had chomped down on his ear. Show shaft and coconutish. Luna, I need that ear. She obviously considered the argument given the long hum she let out. Then she deemed it a bad one because she bit down harder. Oh, geez, she has a solid bite, that's for F sure. why don't you tell me about what kind of person you want to date, and I'll get you hooked up. Naruto offered with a wince as he stopped outside a door that had a crudely made sign hanging on it. The sign was bright yellow and read, Blitzo and Loon 3 in, please don't be crayon. He sniffed, yep, wax. Come on, Blitzo. How did you adopt a teenager if you have this outside of your apartment? Fine. Luna sighed. Huzzah, his ear was free. The hellhound slumped on his shoulder and nuzzled at his neck. I want someone that's not a total beach, like the fatty. Someone funny, can make me laugh. And they gotta be strong. Muzzly. I like muscles. Do you hey, hands above the shoulders, please? Naruto warned as he nudged at the apartment door. Nope, not a single inch. That was locked. Oh, sorry. Just thinking about this cute guy I like. Oh, do you like somebody? That's nice. And that someone may or may not be getting a free one-time offer from the new for-hire bodyguard on the block that might not do so well while on a free job. Depends on what Luna says about this guy. Yeah, she breathed. Woof, that was a lot of alcohol on her breath. Tomorrow was not going to be fun for her. She snuggled into his shoulder. He's really cute. Didn't think I'd like him. Hasn't got big muscles. Still think TH1s he's got are really nice. Kinda dumb though, but I can live with that, I think. Lucky guy. Alright, screw this. Naruto deadpanned as she kept listing things about this supposed dream guy of hers. He stepped back and kicked the doorknob off. He'd replace it later. The apartment door creaked open and he carried his drunk passenger in. An eyebrow rose up at the mess on the inside of the apartment, all trailing out from the bathroom. Bits and pieces of a door were scattered across everything, and there looked to be some water damage on the floor. He made sure to drop the bag of their stuff on the couch. Stabbed into the wall beside what looked like the only other room with various notes and warnings of it being Luna's room was a knife that had Looney scrawled on it in more crayon. The knife was stabbed into a note. A glance and quick scrutinization of Blitzo's illegible writing gave him the gist. Blitzo broke the bathroom door for some reason, and the sink with it, so the water in the apartment was shut off, and he went to crash at the office. And he's got such a cute, tight, little butt. I just want to sink my teeth into it. Oh, home sweet F, this place is messy. Luna giggled. She shifted to rest on his other shoulder before she spotted her door. She twisted to get out of his arms, which he helped with, and then quickly caught her before she tried to run on her broken leg. My room, no. Why, violet coconut candy guy? Let me go. Luna, you broke your leg, remember? We'll go to your room. I just don't want you to hurt yourself, you know? Thank the supposedly almighty powers of the big G-man that Naruto had grown up his whole life around adults that drank themselves stupid. He hoped that perverted grandma was doing okay wherever she was, otherwise he'd have no idea how to properly wrangle the hellhound. Come on, Luna. Bedtime. Sounds nice. Hey, I got a cute guy in my room. Luna giggled as she hobbled into her room with his help, and then started looking around once they crossed the threshold. Her eyes squinted and she growled. Her tail stopped wagging. Dad usually shows his face at this point. I'll kill him if he comes in here again. As you should. He chuckled and helped her get into her bed. He just got the blanket on her when she started to whimper and grabbed at his wrist at an awkward angle. Oh, CRP. If she tried to sit up like that, he knelt down beside the bed to keep her laying on her side and off of her healing leg. Her eyes were watering. Luna, no. Hey, what's wrong? Don't go. Please. Please don't go. You're so effing nice. But I gotta go, Luna. Naruto gave her an incomplete smile and stroked some of her hair out of her face. Another long, heart-wrenching whine pierced the air and his ears. You should just go to sleep, okay? Things will be better in the morning. You're just kind of drunk right now. No. Her lip trembled, and okay, it was wrong that Naruto was so touched that this drunk girl was crying over him leaving, right? Right, he thought so, too. She pulled insistently at his arm. You're the only other guy I know who's so nice, and the cute guy wouldn't ever come here. Why not? Give him a name. Just give him a name and Naruto would have a new target at the top of the list trademarked. Dushifer could sleep easy tonight, just for once. 'Cause he's a duke and I'm just me. She sniffed. Ah. Leaving her with the arm she had in a death grip, Naruto ducked his face into his other forearm while his ears turned back and burned. Okay, he misread that so strong it was funny. This girl was going to drive him crazy if he wasn't there already. He took a breath and lifted his head up to look at her again. Her eyes had fallen shut, but her grasp held tight to his arm. Was she? Luna, he whispered. Her eyes cracked open, so no, not asleep yet. Oh, hey Naruto, she smiled with slightly unfocused eyes. A muffled thump 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 signaled her tail begin to wag beneath the covers. Coherency was leaving. Hopefully, her blissful consciousness would follow. She giggled and shuffled closer, only to yelp. Yeah, you got a broken leg. Oh, that whine was just not allowed to happen. Make it better. You gotta go to sleep, Luna. It'll feel better in the morning. But you sure won't. He grinned and gently pulled his arm out of her loose grip, only for his hand to get caught. Stubborn little she-hound, wasn't she? He cupped her hand with his other free one and brought it to his lips, before he pulled it back and patted it. I'll come around tomorrow and check on you, okay? No. She yawned mid-complaint and tugged his arm back. Oh, come. I want you to stay. Remind me of Candy Guy. Who, boy, I am so holding this over your head. Naruto snickered to himself before he nodded. All right, okay, but we're sleeping, all right? Yeah, like at the hotel. Her eyes seemed to open wider, damn it, so close, and she pulled insistently on his arm. You come on, up here. Luna, I hate to break it to you, but you barely fit in that bed. Come on. All right, don't say I didn't warn you. Can I have my hand back so I can? No, you'll leave. Drunk or not, she was still smart. What if I give you my tail, huh? You can make sure I don't leave if you take my tail. Her red eyes got very wide and she let go of his hand. Gimme. He sighed and reached back to give her the tail. Once the exchange was made and she's biting his tail. Because of course she is. Good thing it didn't have a lot of sensitivity away from the base. He stood up, twisted so as not to tug on the sensitive base of his tail, pulled the blanket down and carefully laid onto the bed with her. There, is that better? Whoa, your leg, watch your leg. Hurch. She muttered around the tail in her mouth while she tried to climb on him for whatever reason. She growled, dropped her new chew toy to grab his head and pull him down. Oh, that was starting to hurt his neck. It's not like the hotel got a lay on your pillow. I told you the bed was 2SM. Luna, stop. He hissed and caught her leg when she tried to climb with her broken leg again. What are you talking about? I was a pillow, you was comfy blanket. And there's another heartbreaking whine. He tried to make the same leap in logic her drunk mind did. He closed his eyes and tried to connect the dots. He was a blanket, which mean yeah, not happening. Luna, I don't want to put weight on your leg. But. Next time, okay, I promise. He pushed his nose into hers. Boop power, activate, and her pretty unfocused red eyes crossed before they started to close. He rumbled and helped her readjust to lay atop him, with enough space beneath him that let his tail wriggle while hers started to wag and jostled the blankets. You can be the blanket tonight. Next time, we'll swish. She sighed as her head dropped from the boop to rest on his chest. She nuzzled into his collarbone. Hey, Rudo, you're fucking awesome. I know. He snorted and kissed her on the head. Black antiseptic wipes got rid of her sweet taste. A bit disappointed by the lacking taste, he rested his chin on her head. Good night, Lou. Why got's a cute butt, dough? She mumbled before she burped a swath of eye-watering alcohol-riddled breath that flew up into his face as if aimed for it. Good night, Luna. Naruto chuckled around his teary eyes. He waited until her breathing steadied before he reached into his pocket and pulled his hellphone out. He turned his flash off, snagged a selfie, and then shot a message off to B. See? He could be responsible when he wasn't totally smashed. Seen it. Binged it. Boring. Sad. Mammy's SHT knockoff. Binged it. Beelzebub muttered as she flipped through channel after channel. Tonight was another chill night to relax before she had to start planning the next BU parade in Pride. She had a full bong in her lap and 2 tables of snacks at the ready. Dip 4 had finally gotten sorted out and was determined to mix best with pretzel bites, according to the test subject's reports, that is, VERYYYY's crew. Tomorrow she was going to have them taste it when mixed with the gray stag meat her baby bro's clones brought back nearby, so she wouldn't have to make anything on the spot. She growled and flipped faster and faster. Why is there never anything on television when I actually want to watch it? Tilde OE a tilde 2 tilde OE a tilde. Thank F, baby bro can help. B sighed as she picked her hellphone up and opened the text. The awkward angle had her squint for a second to focus on the picture before it registered that her baby bro's face nuzzled into the mess of the cutie loony pup he met. She immediately cooed and cradled the phone in both hands. F yeah, baby bro. Cute happy post-sec cuddles, great vibes, enjoy your night, see you tomorrow, an NND, sent. That's amazing vibes I got without anyone in the house. I wonder if I can make more like tilde OE a tilde OE a tilde. We did not have sec. Luna broke her leg and is high off meds. Huh? B blinked. Oh, right. One of the clones said that he took her to the hospital and left them with the mess before it dispelled. That would explain the scrubs they were wearing. She hummed as she sent off her next reply. So, what, are you just sleeping with her like a creep? If she didn't want me here, I'd be back. I was raised better than that. Good boy, baby bro. He earned a pot of ramen for tomorrow. B always wanted to make sure her lessons about consent were heeded. The sick F-ers that tried any of that SHT at her parties didn't make it home to sleep it off. Pleased by the evidence of her amazing parenting skills, the Prince of Gluttony smirked, screenshotted the example, and fired it off to Lucifer like the last 237 times she tried to throw her better sibling parenting skills in his face. It was left unread. He needed to accept his fault in the separation already and stop neglecting everyone, and then another message of the whole exchange, including the selfie, was sent to Ozzy. Then she went back to the exchange with her baby bro. Just making sure, glad she's okay. What's her cut of the meat? 4/7 stags were hers. F, that was a lot of stag meat. Ugh, B wasn't happy about giving that much up. She curled her lips with a growl before she sighed. She'd just have to have the survey squad deal with a herd tomorrow or something. Fine. Don't let her talk you into drunk sec. No worries on that end. Night B. Night BB. She hadn't even set her phone down when an SNSL munim came from it. A very close-up shot of the three-headed rooster covered her phone screen, and B answered the call with a grin. Hi, Beach. And when in the F were you gonna tell me that our sweet little boy was dating? Ozzy's irate bark greeted her while there was a soft sigh heard on the other end. B blinked and pulled the phone from her ear to triple-check the other line. Yep, that was Ozzy's face, all right. She shrugged and put it back to her ear. Just now, I guess, since when the F do you care? Excuse me, Ozzy squawked. I have been so invested in Naruto baby's life since the second I laid all 6 of my eyes on him. I went to every after-school event, every doctor's appointment I could. Ozzy, he went comatose every 2 years after he first woke up. B rolled her eyes. And what after-school events are you talking about? Most of his F in education came from the Cinternet and the royal tutors. That you didn't eat off of the bat. Hey, those first 9 assholes F asked for it. B snarled and leaned forward, almost knocking her bong off the couch. Her form shifted slightly as she thought about the first few batches of tutors that kept reporting SHT to her that didn't mean a goddamn thing in the long run. They kept trying to hit him with some corporal punishment SHT. You could have effin' left a few for me to break, that's all I'm saying. That'd be letting them off light. B scoffed and sat back. Look, is there anything else you want to know, or can I get back to my chill night? Is there anything else I want to know? She asks. Oh, great. Ozzy was all worked up. Was he edging again? Ugh, he always got so effin' pissy whenever he started edging. Beach, how long has he been seeing this, what's her name? Luna? Does Vortex know her? Did he vet her? Did we check her details? I don't know, B said with a frown. She started toying with her bong and laid down on the couch. He's known her for, like, a month or 2, I think. I've only met her today. You met her today? He brought her to meet B. That second part was clearly aimed for whatever partner Ozzy was with at the moment. B had to blink at that. She didn't know he even had another partner. Probably just a one-night stand. And? F slot for gossip is what you are, she scoffed. That's the F slot. Thank you very F much. Now speak, Beach. Watch it, Oz. B huffed with a scowl before she snagged a few chips and dipped 4. She's a P&D pup from Pride. She's from an orphanage? Don't you manage the adoptions and make quality checks of afterlife on them? Of course I do, B scowled. Her brow furrowed as she thought of something else she had to add to her itinerary. It's HT. I gotta make a run up there and do that sometime before the parade. And you didn't meet her the last time you made a check? No, last time I did that was like, sometime in the 00s? She's younger than that. B frowned. She was also unvaxxed, but then, B decided a long time ago that at a certain age, the pups could decide if they wanted the shots or not. Some were fine without and others went back yearly for more. I mean, you saw her pic. Cute as F, right? Yes, she's F adorable. Ozzy chuckled before he sighed. I just want to make sure there's not something else at play here. You remember how some of the Gosha got about Charlie's split from Von Eldritch? That couldn't have F happened soon enough, B scoffed. That little prick was a F jackass after her title. Nah, Luna's sweet on baby bro, and he's over the moon for her. Aside from that issue with her dad, well, we are the last ones who should talk about daddy issues. F off. B rolled her eyes and took a bite of the bowl dip 4 was in. I mean, he only tried to kill baby bro once. The F did you just say? A hellhound went after Naru baby. What? No, effin' listen, SHT bird, B scoffed. Luna's adopted, remember? Some little imp got her out, I guess, and then after a night out got mad at baby bro. What the F, why didn't you kill him? Because baby bro handled it. And before you get any F ideas, you don't get to kill the F imp either. B deadpanned. If anyone had first dibs on the shitheel that shot and tried to blow up her baby bro, it was the Queen Bee. Ozzy growled over the line and she huffed. Hey, take it up with baby bro. If you want deets, look for the channel 666 vid with him promoting his bodyguard biz. Bodyguard? Mitchum. His first gig ended yesterday. He did a stint as Ice Queen Stella's little girl's bodyguard. Kid needs serious therapy though. Stobutt and Stella got serious rank vibes all up in that house. B hummed. She was just pleased her baby bro came back clean after her vibe check. A faint hint of ash notwithstanding. She guessed they really had fun at Lululand. But, that's too dangerous, Ozzy whined. Thank you, Ozzy, that was B's concern, too. He could get hurt. Alright, that was not her concern exactly. She was more worried about if he tried to use that SHT that the FWAD left inside him. He tended to lose control whenever he did that, as her manner can attend to, and if he was on a job in another ring while she was busy with her own SHT, she wouldn't be able to stop him from rampaging. Ozzy's complaint drew not only her attention, but a bit of her ire. Why didn't you get him a job? I did, and he's great at it, B huffed. All the effing money I saved remodeling after a bitching party wrapped up. Ungrateful little SHT called it boring to my face. Abusing his clones as cheap party prep or cleanup does not count as a job, B, Ozzy deadpanned. Oh, what the did he know? Damn it, if I knew he wanted a job, I'd have gotten him something that would give him experience. Given how much baby bro loves going to your ring, I doubt he'd have accepted it. B pointed out with a smirk. Well, if someone didn't leave him alone during his 14th birthday party. Party foul? We all agreed not to talk about that, B snapped around a growl. The 14th birthday party was not to be mentioned in the presence of any sin by any hellborn that knew of it. Lusai himself made the decree to protect Charlie. But then that was how he prioritized things most days. Honestly, B got it. Yeah, whatever. Ozzy huffed. So, he's a bodyguard now, and he has a girlfriend. They've had one date, B said with a shrug she knew he couldn't see. But, I mean, if he's like me, I don't think existence is ready for there to be two of you. You slut. Beach. Ozzy snorted back. You were saying? If baby bro and I are anything alike, which is good, because the alternative is he's like effin' Satan. B shivered at the thought and Ozzy hissed his agreement. Satan may have a rockin' bod, but he was still a total butt. He's probably hoping for another date before things get serious. Ugh, he's growing up too fast. Speaking of serious topics, here we go. B rolled her eyes. Have you moved Vortex in yet? He's got half of his SHT here, and the rest of it is with his boss. What's the status of that turnover, by the way? Another week of debilitating royalty negotiations, you know how it is. So, V will be my IP by the end of spring break? Effin' great. We should have never given legal SHT over to Lusai to write up. He always makes things take forever. The last time he rushed anything he got promoted to lead us, Ozzy deadpanned. B growled at him. Semantics. Alright, well I need to turn in. Gotta start early in the shop tomorrow. Keep me posted on Naru baby's relationship, will you? Yeah, that'll be right at the top of my to-do list. B scoffed. She paused. Hey, before you hang up, any ideas on something I should watch while high on some of Belle's stash? Oh, for the love of, are you still stealing that CRP? You know you could just trade more booze for it, right? Where's the fun in that? A baggy-eyed Blitzo stared at his phone as he paced the office for Imp, while Millie and Moxie just watched him from where they sat eating their carry-in breakfast. Come on, Looney, tell Daddy that you're okay, he muttered. Just tell me you didn't get kidnapped again. It had been a full 24 hours since Luna locked him in their bathroom and went out to get coffee. The last time she did that, it had been because she'd started her heat cycle and didn't want him to bother her for the day. Given how well she's been doing at work, and the phenomenal job she did at that shitty knockoff theme park, he decided to just let her be. He'd at least expected a question about the state of the apartment his amazing escape had left it in. But there's been nothing, not even a single post on her Voxtagram. She didn't get kidnapped the last time, either, sir. Moxie chimed in oh so unhelpfully as he topped off his boiled egg. Fat-assed little prick. She was too, and that's the story Blitzo was sticking with. She's probably out with her fuzzy friend. Millie offered with a snort. Slowly, Blitzo looked up from his phone to growl at the short stack. His hand reached for his holstered flintlock. You could never be too prepared in Imp City before he stopped and lowered it back to his side. Don't even joke. He glared as his lip curled and his left eye twitched. He opened his mouth to start a rant on the pedophilic royal that was lurking around his baby, only to unintentionally cut himself off with a long yawn. He ended it with a growl and rubbed the sleep out of his eyes while Millie and Moxie frowned at him. "You alright, boss?" "Aside from Luna's blessed absence, that is," Moxie added. "F off, Moxie. And no, Mills, I'm not alright." He put his hands to his back and pushed to crack it. "Fu you whack me in the butt with a SHT-covered PP, that couch is not F great to sleep on. Not only that, but there's some kind of F remodeling SHT going on upstairs, and it only F ended an hour before you two dipshits got in." "We got neighbors?" Millie asked, far too excited by the prospect. "We should drop in and say hi." "Love the enthusiasm, Mills, but there's fat F chance of that happening. I went to go check it out last night and some giant F-off hellhound with one eye was blocking the fire door." "You didn't try the elevator, sir?" Moxie asked. "It was locked out by the F construction company. At 2 in the F morning," Blitzo huffed. He opened his mouth to complain more about the SHT night he had when his phone shrieked. He looked down at it and sighed in relief. "Oh, thank F. Looney made it home. She went out and got plastered. Good for her." "Sir, the last time she got drunk she met." "Mox, I don't want to F hear it. If she F someone, that's her business, and I'm too F tired to get too upset about that SHT right now." He would take a nap and then get justifiably pissed. Blitzo yawned again and walked into his office with a stretch. "I'm gonna try sleeping in my chair for a few hours. If a client shows up, take their name and tag it on the wall." What about Luna, sir?" Moxie asked. "She'll be in when she's in." Blitzo shrugged. If she had a hangover, he was not pestering her. He made that mistake once and still had the scars to prove it. Sure enough, not 2 hours later did Luna make it in. Irritable, hungover, and with a cast on her leg. Apparently, she got hit by a car while partying near Sloth, got in and out of the hospital in record time, then made it home late last night. When asked who helped her get to the hospital, home, etc., they were told to shut the F up and mind their F business. Weird how she kept a small smile on her face throughout the day whenever she wasn't snarling at them for aggravating her hangover, usually while she scrolled through her phone. Meh, if it was important, Blitzo would have picked up on it. Anyway, at the end of the very not busy day, Moxie, Millie, and Luna left to go stay at a friend's she made while out drinking. She's got a girlfriend. Blitzo, stop clutching your effin' pearls. While Blitzo once more stayed behind to figure out just what was being set up in the offices upstairs, and to have access to the on-site running water in the bathroom. The last week had been a figurative hell for Naru Elzebub. Why? There were 2 reasons. His elder sister, B, while left unsupervised, had alerted his cousin, brother, uncle his uncle figure that he was dating. Oh, some may think that's not so bad, to which he would promptly laugh at them. Then kick this incorrect hypothetical idiot in the crotch, tie them to a chair, and hook them up to a F-car battery for the rest of the day. It's bad. No, it's worse than bad. It's very F bad. It's very F bad because the F sin of lust himself kept blowing Naruto's F phone up with stupid bits of F advice literally, and then there were the F advertisements. F, don't even get him started on the advertisements. Keep it safe. Watch this. BNDGE for Beginners, Vol I of Roman 36. Always remember personal hygiene. Check out this video. First time anal bleaching. Don't be stupid about it. Read this article. Vor and Melons, and Introspective. Those were the tame ones. The ones he didn't need to drink bottles of Beelzejuice to forget about after he deleted them. The other reason the week sucked was that he had promised while he was sleepy and he suffered the effects of a grateful good morning boop to fix the damage to Luna's apartment. Not only he left, but that Blitzo left in his escape from the bathroom. This shouldn't be as annoying as the last headache of the week, but considering he not only had to buy the whole apartment building just to get the little cheapskate shithead of a landlord to let him work on it, thank FB let him be so liberal with their house's money, he had to fix the F place with his clones. Given how much of an immature, annoying little SHT he could be sometimes, and the fact that the temperature in the Pride Ring was relatively high today, this ring did not have central air in most buildings because that defeats the purpose due to a sudden influx of believers from some ritual gone wrong last night. One could see why the Duke of Gluttony was so frustrated about it all. Alright, that should do it. Naruto stepped back from the bathroom sink. He grabbed the radio set atop the closed toilet and contacted the clone at the water control. Go ahead and turn it on. Say something, boss. You've got to hold down the button. Over. Cheeky, Sonova. Naruto closed his eyes and pinged the clone. Turn on the F water. Turn on the F what? I keep losing you. Over. I F hate you so much. He grumbled as he glared at the device in his hand. His ear flicked to the snort that came from the living room. A claw pointed out at the source without looking away from the radio in his hand. You shush. You do not get to laugh. I didn't laugh. Luna refuted, her attention firmly on the phone in her hand, and he could hear the coy little smirk on her face. The goddamn hot air was filled with her sweet scent, and the taste of her amusement was palpable. You snorted. That's not a laugh. It's the implication behind it that matters, Luna. Just finish fixing the F-sync so we can get started on lunch. So I can get started on lunch, you mean? You're the one that offered to cook. This hound, her saving grace PRD of being broken ended this morning, and she would do well to remember that fact. Boss, are we done? Can I turn the water back on? Over? Yes, Naruto snapped into the radio. What? Over? Turn the F water on. Over. He grit out. There was a BLD vessel bursting on the F horizon. He just F knew it. Roger, over. Naruto gave it a second, then two, and then turned on the faucet. Mercifully, unlike the last two times they tried this, the water flowed where it was supposed to. He had no idea how he'd mixed the flow line up to the toilet to turn it into a high-powered bidet. But that mistake set him back 2 days, thank the merciful forces of life. What? Naruto was a bona fide house demon, not a F-monster. He turned the faucet off and on, and then off once more before he was satisfied. All right, we're good. Go ahead and dispel. Over. Naruto told his clone. The radio in his hand went up in smoke. He wiped his hands off on a towel and swore when a claw got caught. The sharp rip had him grimace and glance at the lounging hellhound. Ah, sorry? Luna barely looked away from her phone. It's cool. It's Blitzo's towel. Oh, all right then. Into the rag bin it went. Naruto gathered up the supplies he'd brought with him and packed them away into a toolbox, which he then ate in a single bite. He let out a small burp and wiped his mouth with his arm. Oof. Excuse me. Tools are tangy. That's disgusting. You think so? She gave a firm nod. He smirked as he came over to the couch, picked the hellhound up and sat down where she was with her now in his lap. The growl as he hugged her from behind was matched with a rumble. His tail weshed against the couch cushions while her tail whapped the pleather side. He huffed into her pierced ear. What's disgusting is the bill I'm going to saddle you with for repairs. Her tail stopped. The F you are. Luna glared at him from the corner of her eye. Cost of LBR, hourly pay, lunch funds. Your clones did most of the F work. Yeah, but they are all me, so in essence, I did most of the F work. You're a pedantic butt. That may be true, but I'll have you know that I have it on good authority that I am a cute pedantic butt. He lost himself to a snicker fit when Luna growled and elbowed his gut, which did very little to abate his amusement, especially when he knew from experience she didn't put any effort into it. Her tail tickled his shin as it wagged, and her scent was laced with all sorts of delicious vibes. That stupid familiar, but not one he still couldn't F-place, he'd decided to dub it the FBN vibe, was extremely prominent among the other sweet morsels of amusement, comfort, and playful. Tilda cot ton can die, cot ton can die, cot ton can die, tilde. Always whenever I'm done working in a bathroom. Never fails. Naruto sighed and moved one hand from where it rested on Luna's curvy hip to his jeans pocket. He pulled his hellphone out and stared at the text. His lip curled, and any plans to relax he may have had for the day were immediately tossed out the nearest window without a chance to land safely. TCH, got him it. A scowl pulled at his lips, and he read through the text. The unasked question was then addressed as he scrolled the details. My sister's annoying meathead of a boyfriend hired me for a job. Oh, cool, going topside. Less annoyed now. Your sister has a boyfriend? Luna asked. Naruto glanced at her with an arched eyebrow. Yeah? Why, disappointed? She hummed innocently, her sweet scent still tapped with the playful from before. Well, two could play that game. He tightened his hold around her and gave her a rough nuzzle to the chin. Ah, Don't be sad, Luna. I know I'm only a consolation prize, but I'll get you over this loss. F off. She snorted, pushed his face back with one hand and snagged his phone with the other. Hey, wait a minute. Luna, you can't just grab my phone like that. It's got confidential. Oh, this dirty beach. Swift kisses like that one were definitely cheating. He fought to regain a semblance of his coherency while he blindly reached for his phone. Weird, that's where Imp is. She twisted away from his attempt to reclaim his property to read through the text. Her eyes bulged. What the SHT? Naruto, your job pays like 5 times as much as one of Blitzo's hits, and that's a daily charge? Well, duh. He deadpanned as he took his phone back with a growl. A flash of teeth on both ends was reconciled with a half boop, where their tips just grazed instead of pressed. He pocketed his phone and pulled himself out from beneath the hellhound to go grab his rustic bomber jacket from where he hung it in the shower. It's harder to protect somebody than it is to kill them, you know. Bull SHT, Luna huffed and crossed her arms. I work with F assassins, and they're not the best, but they do their jobs. It's very F strong to kill people. How would you even know that? Because anyone can kill anyone. He pulled his jacket on and adjusted the sleeves so the concealed weapons and emergency ramen packets. Can't forget his emergency ramen packets within wouldn't fall out. The real trick is doing it without getting caught. Is that some ninja croc you picked up from before? She scoffed. He glanced at her and noted the flick in her ear. A subtle sniff, yep. Her sweet vanilla was now mixed with genuine sour annoyance, bitter disquiet disappointment with a small hint of envy to top it off. He walked back to her and crouched a bit to look her in the eye. Yes. Oh, go F yourself. She growled at him, and he rolled his eyes. She wasn't fully sold on his past. He totally understood. It was a strong pill to swallow, and he lived through it, and whenever it was brought up, she mocked him for it. Which was, well, not cool, but it was whatever. Levy and Mammon did the same SHT, and were way more hateful about it. Oddly enough, Lucifer didn't partake and often told them off whenever they were at a gathering. Which was weirdly nice, but F that short king wannabe on principle. Unfortunately, him knowing why the hellhound was so upset didn't really help with making her stop being that way if she didn't want to. So rather than start a fight, he decided to catch her off guard. Look, he rubbed his face. Do you want to argue about whether I'm charged fairly for what I do, or do you want to come meet VERYYYY Mayday with me? That definitely threw her off her game. Me what? The guy my sister F on the regular is Mayday's bodyguard. Naruto shrugged. He's the jackass that suggested I do something with all my free time instead of lazing about and mooching off of my sister. Like he F knows anything about our dynamic. Hold the F on. Luna grabbed his shoulders, gorgeous red eyes wide as she stared at him. You've got connections to VERYYYY SCK till you dry up, Mayday. And our first date was to go F hunting. Are you saying you don't want the rest of the stag meat in your freezer? He shot back dryly. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again before she let go of him and growled with her ears back against her head. He nodded. That's what I thought. That's not Naruto. Luna. He rolled his eyes and crossed his arms. Just because I know he's her bodyguard doesn't mean I've ever met her in person. Oh, like I believe that. She crossed her arms and snarled. Ugh, it wasn't fair that she was hot when she was angry. Fine, we met like 2 months ago. He groaned as his shoulders slumped. He furrowed his brow and rubbed his chin. Right after you and I met. In weird coincidence anyway, she and her succubi posse were all hopped up on some kind of weird lust high. Freaked both B and I out. One of them jumped a clone and tried to I never really figured out what that was an attempt of. Murder? Assault? But you've met her. We never had one conversation. Like I said, she was high on some lust SHT. He threw his arms up before he lowered them and growled into his hands. A deep breath. It's not Luna's fault that she's blinded by the fame, nor his that he didn't like things associated with lust. Just do you want to come meet her or not? Do I want to? Yes, shithead. Luna slugged his arm with a growl. He growled right back and they glared at each other. Her tail snapped at the air once while his whipped behind him like a viper. Hot breaths were exchanged as they held the glare. I'm going to shower and change. Luna finally snarled to break the silence. Her claw jabbed his chest. If you even think about leaving before I'm ready. Don't tempt me, he snapped back. She growled at him and stormed past to get into the bathroom. The door slammed shut behind her. He leaned against the kitchen island and he ran a hand over his eyes. F me. He'd better send Vortex a message that he'd be running late, and figure out a way to apologize. Luna growled incoherently as she stepped through the House of Sin portal to the lot outside of IMP's office building. No sign of the van. Guess Blitzo still had the others with him on that ammo run. The rush of energy behind her ceased flowing as her almost boyfriend came out of it behind her. F''s lucky he waited, Luna thought with a huff. She'd come out of her room, dressed in her favorite choker, top and shorts, to find the fox fiend sitting at the kitchen island writing something down while listening to someone on his phone. His ear flicked towards her, and he ended the call, smiling at her as if he hadn't been a total butt not 20 minutes ago. His tail did its dumb adorable wriggling, but she kept her eyes on him. She wasn't falling for his stupid platitudes or tricks after he dropped the bomb that he knew the hottest pop star in all of hell and decided not to mention it until now. There were all sorts of insecurities that sudden revelation brought to the forefront of her mind. She's just an imp's hellhound for F's sake, and he's a duke. She grew up in a cell while he suckled on a silver spoon, and Luna wasn't keen on addressing any of them right now. Was it a petty reason to be pissed? Probably, but Luna wasn't not capable of being a petty beach. After all, she learned from the best, Blitzo, whose gaudy butt slot mobile is in my spot. As if on FQ. Luna growled and crossed her arms. Naruto looked at her with an arched brow. She ignored him. Her focus was on her adoptive father as he bitched over a parking spot. The longer and louder it went on, the more she wondered if she should be recording this. He's certainly creative with his insults and threats, the fox fiend beside her muttered. She glanced at him. His focus was also on Blitzo, and decided not to start anything. He wasn't wrong with the assumption, but she wasn't going to hop on a bandwagon with him right now. With a rusty spoon. Now who is the dead moth that took my spot? I did it, Blitzo. Hot DMN, she's even hotter in person. Luna definitely had her phone out now. She recorded the exchange between her adoptive father and the underworld's hottest pop star. That was also his ex-girlfriend. How did so many people she know VERYYYY Mayday? She lowered her phone and snarled as she stormed toward the imp she lived with. Blitzo. Not now, low loony, she snarled at him when he ran to hug her and shoved him away when he managed to land the glump. Time and place mothaf. Learn it. You dated VERYYYY Mayday? The hottest pop star in hell. Thank you, love that top. The succubus smiled at her and Luna felt her stomach twist. Yeah, thanks. One of her now burning ears flicked back at the snort from her almost boyfriend. She sent a glare at him over her shoulder before she glared back at Blitzo. You dated her and you didn't think to tell me. Trust me, Looney. You're not missing much of a story there. A lot of lube was needed. Like, a lot. He huffed as he dusted himself off before he glared at the fox fiend. And what the F are you doing skulking around here, kidnapper? Waiting for a chance to strike again, obviously. Curses, your guard was down. My plan is ruined. I've been thwarted. We'll meet again, Blitzo. Naruto deadpan back. That was pretty good. But Luna really had to not laugh right now. Given that Mayday and her posse were losing her SHT, and Millie and Fatty were giggling up a storm, and Blitzo looked ready to burst a vessel. The struggle was real. Unaware of the torment she was in due to him, the fox fiend put strode past her, the rest of imp, and VERYYYY Mayday herself just to glare up at another hellhound. That was muscled, tall, inked, blooded, scarred, unholy SHT, he's hot, and probably the same boyfriend of Beelzebub that Naruto told her got him the job. The fox fiend glowered up at the taller hound as he glared down. Vortex. Wait, like the K&K? Naruelzebub. SHT, he has a deep voice. Sounded experienced, and she really shouldn't be focusing on that. But she and Naruto weren't official yet, so. However, this hellhound was with Beelzebub, so what could Luna offer him she couldn't? On the other hand, he was hot. Gonna let that slide this time since you asked B to put me on the job. Vortex growled, and it didn't really have the same effect on her that Naruto's did. What? But this was clearly a F-blooded hellhound. He was big. He was beefy. He was everything Luna always thought she wanted in a boyfriend. SHT. He probably had prime daddy juice material. F Blitzo is corrupting my instincts. She swallowed back whatever her GG reflex had brought up from that last thought. Are you going to be a pain in the butt the whole F time? Maybe. Naruto shrugged. His tail swished about. Luna reluctantly followed it for a moment before she looked at the cute butt it was attached to. But I'll do the job half price if you let me bring in a freelancer. You made a friend? Who wants to be a bodyguard? Yeah. And then the F-er looked right at her. Wait. Oh, no. He didn't take the SHT back at the apartment as a challenge, did he? Luna didn't want to be a F bodyguard. She didn't care about other people. He DMN well better not. What do you say, Luna? Want to make a paycheck that's worth a DMN? That was a good point. F. Why couldn't she think up a rebuttal to that? Hey, F you, kidnapper. Don't poach my receptionist. Fu Blitzo, seriously? Luna was so over this little shithead interfering in her life. He looked her dead in the eyes, and in front of everyone, spewed the following load of SHT. Nope, no way, no, sorry, sweetie, but it's a terrible idea for you to go up top. Spring break is no place for young, vulnerable goth girls. We all know the sort of freaks that would drool all over you. He glared right at Naruto right after he said that. The fox fiend rubbed his jaw and looked up at the sky. His dumb pretty eyes looked back down into hers, and that stupid little smirk that made her heart race in a way that drove her up a wall spread across his muzzle. That is a good point. He nodded at VERYYYY. Luna didn't like the look in those hot pink eyes as they lingered on her almost boyfriend. What the F was that about? And added, we'll keep you on backstage duties for now, let you learn the ropes. You're acting like I'm letting this happen? Vortex deadpanned. Don't like it? Call B and ask her if she's valid. The fox fiend shrugged. Vortex scrutinized her with his one eye, which should feel hotter than it wasn't. Damn it, she was spoiled by Naruto's blue eyes. They were so emotive and unfairly pretty before the Duke of Elzebub really played her up. She downed 4 gray stags on her first hunt. 4? The larger hellhound sounded impressed. Luna felt her ears burn. 4. Naruto nodded. When did you hunt gray stags? Blitzo almost shrieked. Luna glared at him, then at her almost boyfriend. Or at least, where he'd been. Where did he? Aha. There he was, being ushered away with VERYYYY. Oh, just say yes, Tex. If the record label complains, just tell them it's their last time being responsible for the bill. She called before she leaned in and pushed against Naruto's arm, and okay. Luna was officially not cool with how close they were. Come on, Fuzzy Wuzzy, let me show you your room for next week. Our room? Someone snarled in time with Naruto's whimper as he was hauled into the building. She didn't recognize the second voice. It was close though. And were her hackles rising? She felt oddly tense all of a sudden. Oh, wait, maybe it was her that snarled? Ah, let the royal D-bag have that washed up. Loose hold WHR. Luna. She's a succubus, which means she's a effing expert at handling rich D like him. Blitzo shouted at the retreating succubus, not only confirming that it was Luna who spoke in time with her almost boyfriend, but reminding her just who dragged said almost boyfriend off. Handling D. Freaked both B and I out. High on some kind of lust SHT. Jumped one of my clones. Murder? Assault? We never had one conversation. The succubus pop star wanted to F her almost boyfriend. The same almost boyfriend that just spent a week fixing her apartment himself when he could have just paid someone else to do it. The same almost boyfriend that took time during said week to make her food and help her figure out some of the exercises in the magic books when he himself admitted to be mediocre at magic. The same almost boyfriend that brought her home from the hospital and stayed with her while she was drunk into the morning to help her with her hangover. The same almost boyfriend that she didn't have anything to offer but a bitchy attitude and a SHT ton of insecurities. What? Luna took psychology 101 at IU. F off. Alright, so, I guess you're in? Huh? Luna blinked and looked at Vortex. Yeah, still hot. But she had other pressing matters to deal with at the moment. She shook her head and brushed past him. Sure, whatever. Great. Name's Vortex. Oh, that made much more sense. Friends call me Tex. Follow me. I'll see if I can't get you a place to stay. She already has a place to stay, and what the F, Luna? I just said no. Blitzo ran around to stand in front of her. Luna looked past him at VERYYYY and watched her pull Naruto into an elevator. Her BLD boiled as she watched the succubus push up against her almost boyfriend. She snarled and grabbed the imp by the collar and held him up. I am 21 years old. It's my F time off. What I do and who I do it with when I'm not at work is none of your F business. She glared into his eyes as she bared her fangs. So first, get that through your thick horny skull. Then second, go park the F van somewhere. And finally do me a F favor and F off, Dad. Her P said. She dropped Blitzo on the ground and stormed past him into the building. She barely made it to the elevator before she turned around. Vortex, Millie and Fatty were staring at her while Blitzo was still where she dropped him. Her right eye twitched. Hey, Vortex. Show me where the F that beach is taking my boyfriend before I tear this F building down finding them. The larger hellhound blinked and then chuckled before he caught up to her with a few large strides. B said you had a fight in you. Less chit-chat and more direction, meathead. Luna wasn't in the mood for any platitudes from this guy, regardless of how hot he was. She had an butt idiot foxfiend to find and tell him that they were together before he thought he'd gotten a free pass to F a pop star. She'd understand why he F Mayday if it happened, you know, because hell, but she would not be F happy about it. Right this way, cutie. VERYYYY practically squealed as she pulled her treat for being so well behaved at B's place into her personal room. She'd been in Imp City for all of a week and there'd been no sign of the hunk anywhere. Anytime she tried to go out, even if disguised, Tex, for all of his professionalism, was clocked, and she was unable to get away from her adoring public. They say patience was a virtue, but she lived in hell, so F that SHT. Huh, someone at your company is either really nice to their help, or you got shafted super strong when it came to room reservations. This place looks large enough to be its own apartment. The foxfiend muttered. Aw, his innocence was going to taste delicious. He looked at his arm, still clasped in her hands and squeezed into her amazing tits, and then back at her. F, look at his face. It was DMN near phallic in perfection. She couldn't wait to get that fuzzy muzzle in her wet muff. Can I have this back now? Not yet, I have to give you a tour first. How to tweak her pierced nips the right way, then the right amount of fingers that spread her perfectly. Spoiler alert, the answer is yes. Okay, is there a stocked fridge? I kind of haven't eaten yet, and I'm really... Let me show you the bed, it's big enough for a nice all-org. She purred, pulling him into the bedroom. Where'd she strip off his jacket and rip off his shirt? Get to that sweet orange fuzz underneath and get him all worked up so that it dripped with sweat. Big enough for WH? Oh, yeah, DMN, this is a big BEE Ed. The yell came when VERYYYY hip tossed him onto it and then straddled his waist. Big appealing blue eyes stared up at her F. She was going to come just straddling this version. The second he got inside her might actually put her in a F coma and got really wide. This isn't my room, is it? It's going to be for as long as we need it. VERYYYY purred. She rolled her hips into his and let her tail twine with his and OF yes, he was already so F-har. Where did this log come from? Kia. VERYYYY turned to see a black taped digitigrade paw flying at her face. What was it that B said about her sexy brother? He'd put her in the hospital. That totally made sense now. The foot connected with her jaw and the lights went out. She came back to consciousness with a lot of shouting going on around her. Was she at another org, rave, high society secret F party? Her head hurt. The shouting going on around her was not helping her with that. What the F were you thinking? She threw me on her bed and started making a weird face with her tongue. Excuse me for getting F triggered by PTSD flashbacks. You don't hit the boss, that's the first F rule. Wrong, dumbass. The first F rule is not to kill the client, and believe me, I could have F killed her if I F wanted to. Could everyone please shut the F up? VERYYYY snapped, her eyes opening to glare at the ones that were so loud, only to stop and hold her jaw. Oh, F my mouth. Who needs remedial in F hate sex safety? The same dumbass that you insisted we hire to protect you during the spring break tour. Oh, that was Tex. Which meant the other one was her furry F-boy for hire. Did he actually kick her in the face? Again, she made a weird face with her tongue in my face. I have F issues with people who get in my face and make weird faces with their tongues wiggling about. That makes no F sense. Yeah, well, it doesn't F have to. Stop F shouting. F, oh, VERYYYY whimpered and cradled her jaw. An ice pack was pressed into it and oh, this is bliss. Cool, cool, bliss. I don't know who's doing that, but you get free head tonight. Yeah, hot offer, but I'll pass, thanks. It'd be weird to get head from someone that F Blitzo. Deadpanned a female voice she was not intimately familiar with. Not the first time she heard that. Oh, are you dating him now? VERYYYY turned to look at the now disgusted hellhound that Blitzo had thrown himself at earlier. She was pretty cute, if you liked the goth girl aesthetic. And she did have a nice top. You, F no. Not bad taste either, but then why? He adopted me. Oh, you, F, I'm so sorry. Blitzo adopted this poor child? Could she sue for custody just to take that bit of joy away from him, like he did to her? Possibly. She'd have to ask B's team of lawyers about it once the label exchange went through. Whatever. The hellhound rolled her eyes and pushed the ice pack into her face. Ah, that's nice and cool. Okay, pressure needed to let up. Let up. Let go. This beach hello, warm breath on her ear. That's causing some distraction that's more than welcome at this point. If you ever try to F my boyfriend without my okay again, I don't care how much money you have, no one will save you from my wrath. Wow, that's almost hot. If not for the implications that it left. Implications that meant the version demon PP was going to be taken from VERYYYY no F. No. I'll pay you. I'm not his PMP Naruto. Stop F snarling at the meathead. You F up. Just own it. And you, Vortex, grow the F up. Your boss SXLY assaulted him, and he defended himself. The hellhound beach snapped at the two, making them stop on the spot. Which, okay, VERYYYY thought that was a little hot. She growled and then grabbed VERYYYY's hand, put it to the ice pack that was on her face. Here, you should be fine in a few hours if you get a good F before you perform. So, then, F one of your posse, they smell eager for some action. The hellhound spat as she stood up and went to talk to the version demon whose PP was supposed to be VERYYYY's F toy tonight. They spoke too softly to be heard, but then went quiet and are they making out? In front of her? F. Siryu no. Wait no, they were just pushing their noses together. What the F kind of cutacy? KNKYSHT? Damn it. Tex growled as he collected himself. He rubbed his face with a snarl, then came over to kneel in front of VERYYYY and look her in the eyes. Boss, did you at any time ask the little BSTRD if he wanted to F? Ask. Why would he ask? She was right, consent. She got consent, she figured she would, didn't she? Let's recap. She pulled up with the posse, got in the building to settle, came outside to grab her smokes from the car, and then she ran into Blitzo F her throat raw with a sandpaper PP. God damn it. She forgot to ask. Seeing and dealing with her ex really threw her off the plan. Then the stud was just F there, and she was riled up from arguing with Blitzo over that stupid F mistake of a relationship, and she just wanted to F forget he existed. The version demon's PP was just the F thing she'd needed, so she dragged him upstairs, threw him on the bed and now she has a sore mouth. F my life. SHT, Tex sighed and hung his head. Alright, here's the situation. The label already shelled out a F ton of money to get the little butt on payroll, so he's still probably going to be on bodyguard duty. Oh, I'm totally fine with that. VERYYYY mumbled, eyes drifting to the hellhound and foxfiend as they walked out of the room, lingering on the ladder. She would just have to try again, a bit more properly than she attempted before, so it wouldn't be too strong. All she had to do was get the little hellhound beach in line, maybe have her crew distract her. Yeah, I was afraid you'd say that. Tex deadpanned. You and the crew will not approach him during this tour. The F did you just say to me? VERYYYY scowled. He couldn't seriously be suggesting they leave that fine piece of version butt untapped. She'd been waiting literal months for this kind of opportunity. Boss, Tex glared at her. My job is to protect you, right? And you're doing great. What happened was her own fault. She's not denying it. But if she couldn't fix it, she couldn't F the source of the problem stupid. Obviously. Look, if you try that SHT again and I'm there, I'm obligated to step in. Not just because of the stacks you throw my way, but because of what I am. To be honest, I don't want to have to do that. You saw B's place after they got in a fight. He gave her a pointed look and VERYYYY winced. Yeah, she'd never seen Beelzebub's manner trashed like that, even after a 3-day non-stop beetlejuice bender. That little shithead wasn't exaggerating. If he wanted you dead, you're dead. He isn't just a Duke of Gluttony because B took him in, do you understand? That part yes, VERYYYY said, scowl still in place. The part where you think I can't is stuck him. It's not that I don't think you can't, it's more like I don't think you'll try. You didn't even last 30 minutes without trying to jump his PP. What the F? The only time I've ever seen you that bad was when you blacked out this past January, Tex growled. He pinched the space between his eyes. Just, what the F, boss? What happened? I'll explain in depth once my mouth stops hurting. VERYYYY groaned and rubbed the ice pack against her face. B's baby bro had a killer right kick. Maybe he watched hardcore BDSM in his spare time. Fine. Stay put and I'll send the crew up. Let you guys do whatever it is you do to fix that before the show. Oh, all he had to do was ask to join in. She knew he wouldn't, though. I'm going to get the troublemaker and Luna squared away. They can have one of the guest suites. That was fine. VERYYYY could keep an eye out for an opening, and then when Tex wasn't looking. If you try anything when I'm not around, and I hear about it, and I will, I'll be forced to tell B about this. You narc? VERYYYY scowled at him. She knew exactly what side B would take after this exchange. She'd been warned by the Sin to leave him be, and she didn't listen. That could end her career, if not her life. I'm only acting in your best interest, boss. Tex rumbled before he walked out of the room. VERYYYY scowled at his exit and winced as it aggravated her jaw. The little cutie had a powerful leg. Damn it, that just makes me want his PP even more. A shriek from her phone had her pull it out. The crew was giving her a heads up that her life strong. This day can't get worse. They followed Vortex to their actual place of stay for the duration of their time as Mayday's bodyguards. He kept the whole occasion professional, distant and guarded, which, fair. His boss was just kicked in the face by one of the temp hires but got them settled in record time. Before he left, he told them they left in a few hours to set up. With that done, the fox fiend collapsed back first on the bed with an arm over his face, and the hellhound stood over him with her arms crossed. So, are we just going to pretend that didn't happen? Luna asked. Her tail flicked and her hackles rose when the butt in front of her just held one claw up. Are you being serious? Blitzo just challenged VERYYYY to a demon duel. I'm sorry, what? Luna let her arms fall as her ears shot up. Demon duels were empowered challenges overseen by Lucifer himself. Yeah, he sighed and then started to snicker. Holy F, it's over the parking spot. Luna worked her jaw once, twice, before groaning into her hands. He's such an ugh, she growled, turned and slashed at the wall with a snarl. Then stopped. The outburst gifted her a moment of clarity. She looked at the fox fiend over her shoulder. How did you know that? Clone disguised as a fly following VERYYYY just dispelled. He lowered his arm, twinkling blue eyes aimed her way. His stupid cute little grin plastered on his face. I'm very good at what I do when I'm being paid to do it. I'll pay. Nope. That couldn't happen. Not when she had a claim to make. And even if they were in the midst of a fight, his tail wriggled, and she realized she'd been caught staring at him. That grin of his was just a smidge wider. Oh, he thinks he's hot SHT, does he? She crawled onto the bed, positioned herself over him again, not unlike she had on their date. Not lying on him, but hovering over, and glared down at the slightly less wide grin he now sported. She leaned in, close, a hair's breadth from a boop. Can't yet, not yet. Hold strong, girl, and growled at him again. You owe me 2 favors. I do. First one, she inched her nose closer to his. His breath smelled good. Focus. Luna, eyes on the prize. Teach me the clone thing. Can't promise you'll get it, but I'll try. What? She glared at him and he shrugged. B can't figure it out. I'm all for helping you get it if you can, but I'm not a great teacher. Whatever. She felt his tail wriggle into her leg. Okay, no. He was not allowed to find amusement right now. In quick succession, she lifted her knee when it danced away and dropped down atop of it, to pin it to the bed. His eyes shut as he snarled. Oh, what the F, Lou? Now. Her claws dug into his shoulders. His chest rumbled, the vibration started to shake the bed, and his blue eyes blazed as they met her red. She felt her tail wag as his hands found her hips and his claws returned the favor. The snarl that almost followed was silenced as she finally pressed her nose to his. Boop. She felt his tail struggle to wriggle beneath her knee, and she grinned against his muzzle. This. Luna nipped his lip and shifted her knee to put more pressure on his tail. Her claws pierced the fabric of his jacket and dug into the skin beneath. The hiss he released sent an electric tingle up her spine. Is mine. All of it. From the stupid head to the F-toe. Mine. Understood? F. Fine. Yes, he growled back at her. Will you please get off of my tail, now? So, long as we're clear. Luna smirked and let the wriggler go loose. She scowled down at him. You owed me 2 favors. Yes, we've established that. Naruto grumbled. He shifted his shoulders and she tightened her grip on them. Where did he think he was going? Guess I'm not done on the bottom yet? Not by a F-long shot. Luna snorted and pecked the fox fiend on the lips. Your second favor, take me out when we go topside. You don't want to run security for a succubus pop concert? The same succubus that tried to force herself on you? No, I'm F good without that. All right. He caught her off guard with an embrace. DMN him and his very delicious lips. When they broke apart, she glared down at him. Who the F did he think he was? Oh, OSHT, that's a spot. That's a spot on her side she doesn't let anyone touch because it sends C-Type F. He flipped them in her moment of weakness. The F cheater OSHT. He's still scratching it. That had to stop right now. Otherwise don't. Don't stop. F. That feels so good. No. She had a plan. She had to make sure he wait. Did he stop? Who told him to stop? She was right F there. He didn't have to stop. Who told you to stop? She glared at him, huffing in an effort to catch her breath. F him and his stupid giant blue eyes. He should be getting her across the FN. Did you mean it? Mean WH? What you said to VERYYYY? Who? Oh, right, that beach. The famous beach her boyfriend knew. The famous beach her boyfriend knew that tried to RPE him. Did you mean it? What did I say to her? She'll say it again if it means he just F finishes what he started. You called me your boyfriend. Luna stared at him. Was he? F, he was serious. He just edged her to find out. Luna grabbed his face, claws tight on his head, and a glare aimed into his eyes. She snarled as his ears folded back. Are you seriously asking me that right F now? He blinked, looked around as if anything would F save him, and then gave her the weakest F smile she'd ever seen. Yes. Luna snarled again and then mashed her mouth to his. Her claws combed and cut into the mane that sprouted from his head, while her legs snapped up and wrapped around his waist. With the unbalancing weight she'd added to his position, she was once more able to reclaim the top. As soon as the embrace was done, she nipped and then bit onto his cheek. Then she pushed him into the bed. Lips curled and eyes blazing, she forced a boop. You're a F idiot. So, that's a yes. A. F. Idiot. She reiterated around a third snarl. Yes, you're my boyfriend. I'm your girlfriend. There, F official. One of her claws grabbed his wrist and put it back to her side. Got him. His hands were so F warm. Now, finish what you started, but. All right. The door opened and one of the succubus sluts from downstairs walked in, tall, thin, female, pretty, but so very much not welcome right now. Hey, just wanted to let you know we're planning to head up in a ho-oh. She blinked and then grinned as she leaned on the door. She bit her lip. So, I know you're both new, but there's this requirement that comes with working with VERYYYY. I will rip out your trachea, shove it up your cont, and force you to ride on a F-cactus, Luna snarled. She made to make good on her threat, to eradicate this F-cum sucker from the fires of hell, when the blissful scratching started again. Oh, yes, so good right there. If I were you, I would leave. Huh? Wonder who he was talking to. Ooh, that's a sweet spot. Yes, yes, right there. She was so dying in bliss. A pressure that had built up throughout this entire conversation suddenly burst when her boyfriend let out one of his growls. Now. The door slammed shut just as Luna howled. Her vision tinged with white and her tail stilled as her leg involuntarily kicked the air. For a solid minute, the hot sensation shook her body until it tapered to an end. She panted as she curled up in her boyfriend's arms, took deep whiffs of his amazing violet and coconut scent. I didn't know hellhounds could come from that, he muttered. Luna blindly reached up once, missed her target, and then snagged his snout. She directed him to look her in the eye and curled her lip. And no one will ever learn it from you. Right? It was a well-kept hellhound secret. She was not going to be the one that blew it. She hummed when he nodded and nuzzled his face. Good boy. How much longer until we have to leave? 50 minutes. Good. Luna smirked and nipped his lip. She felt a pressure on her leg and had a good idea what it was. Her claws reached down through the collar of his shirt and she cooed as he rumbled again. That gives us 45 minutes. Come on, come on. Blitzo tapped his foot. He peered through his sniper rifle scope and scanned the beach. There was a stage set up, but an obvious absence of horny teens trying to get it on with a pop star. He scowled and ground his teeth. All I want to do is win this bet, get my spot back, and prove to that washed-up beach that death sells better than sec. This is supposed to be spring break, so where the is everyone? Sir? Moxie tapped his shoulder and pointed at the watch on his wrist. We left immediately after you made that deal. It's still 1:45. So. People are still getting their lunches. Millie added as she flipped through Stola's grimoire. She stopped on one, twisted it one way and then the next, tongue poked out of her mouth. I thought this was a secret magic book. It's a magic book, Mills. They're all secret. Then where's the BRC pinup fold-out pages? Ugh, of course Stolas would cheap out on the good SHT. Blitzo groused as he rested his rifle against his shoulder. Damn it, we can't even get a pizza ordered to pass the time. This is going to be so boring. Why did we even come to Earth so soon? Do we even have any contra? Oh, Blitzo whipped a small pocketbook at his naysaying employee. The little shithead rubbed his face and flipped through the book. He dropped it and glared at Blitzo. When did you find the time to get these? Looney collected them last week. We just never got around to doing them. Blitzo smiled wide and put his interlaced hands up to his cheek as he remembered what she said to him. I still can't believe it. She called me Dad. She hasn't called me that ever. I can only wonder why, sir. Moxie deadpanned. Blitzo, still smiling as he thought about his perfect little Looney giving him a loving hug, flipped him the bird. Well, she had to at least once before she tried to call either of those other dogs daddy. Millie smirked as she nudged her husband. Right, babe? Yeah, that Tex guy was certainly packing something down, I mean. What? You? No. Gross. What kind of degenerate individual would have sec with a giant hot hellhound, other than a hellhound, or Blitzo? Do not ruin my moment, or I will F you both in the fourth orifice. Blitzo warned, twitching. Yeah, the giant F-off, one-eyed hellhound was a beefcake snack for sure. But his Looney could do way better than Veraskia's fuzzy sec doll of a bodyguard. He snarled and then started to bend the barrel of his sniper rifle. But if that royal kidnapping F thinks he can get anywhere near her PP while I'm working, he'll be in for a nasty surprise. I'm afraid to ask. Then don't ask, hon. Millie advised with a giggle. Moxie sighed. The curiosity will get to me. What did you do to prevent? I got this. Blitzo reached into his pants and proudly displayed a 6-inch brick red phallus. A toy, not his. He had some class people, and besides, the real thing was bigger. He pressed a button at the tip and the base unfolded to reveal a steel-toothed bear trap. Behold, the Surprise Beach 6000. A motion detector installed inside the VBRTR makes it easy to dissuade even the most twisted rapists in all of hell. All I have to do is insert it after Looney's next nightcap, and she'll be my safe, sweet little girl who won't have to remove it until she's found someone I approve of. I don't know, Blitz, Millie said, a cringe on her face. I think if my daddy tried to stick that in me, I'd have skinned him alive, laid him out for Satan to feast on. As for your high standards, what is so bad about her dating the actual Duke of Gluttony? Moxie asked. He crossed his arms and tilted his head. Isn't that a bit hypocritical? I mean, don't you and Prince Stolas? I will F your ears in your sleep with a lit candle if you even so much as utter that load of Satan SHT again. Blitzo hissed at the white-haired imp. He collapsed the Surprise Beach 6000 and put it back in his pocket. Then tried to fix his sniper rifle. That didn't go well. He stared at it, then at their substitute evac operator. Mills, can you? Sure thing, Blitz. The short stack took his rifle and began to straighten out the barrel. Thanks. Now then, where the F was I? Blitzo rubbed his chin and then rounded on his straight-side Beach's idiot husband. Right. What Stolas and I have is F business, pun intended. That furry kidnapping WHR dog would be F blessed to so much as hold Looney's hand. Hey, Blitz, looks like the Suckaslot and company are starting preparations. Millie must have also checked his sights for him. He really doesn't pay her enough and clearly pays Moxie too much. She was a phenomenal little beach, and what she gasped for? Luna is holding Lord Naruto's hand. They look so cute. Whoa, when did she get a human disguise? That Walking Dead oversized furry F toy is doing what? She has a human disguise, Blitzo and Moxie simultaneously cried. Yeah, gubby boss, you may want to re-evaluate your, standards. Millie pulled the scope from her eye and started fanning herself. Moxie, I'm topping tonight. But it's my turn. Ignoring their byplay in lieu of his daughter's innocence, Blitzo snagged his rifle and peered through the scope. What he saw made his infernal BLD boil. That lousy, kidnapping WHR's son of a beach. VERYYYY let her jaw drop as she watched the version demon don his human disguise. Unlike the cute life goth girl that Blitzo's hellhound became, B's baby bro was an absolute, filled-out meal that needed to be eaten. His heart-shaped face was exposed by the warm, almost sunset-hued, of spiked hair. Dark eyeliner surrounded his entrancing blue eyes and made them pop against the peach-tan skin his disguise had. Save for the 3 lines that marked either cheek, the face alone would be a delight. But she and others who liked what they saw were spoiled by his body, exposed as he shucked his jacket onto a supply crate. Wide, rounded shoulders and firm arms were teasingly flaunted by the fitted white tank top that complemented the V-shaped torso it was pulled over. Likewise, the rockin' firm butt was covered by a worn pair of tight jeans that did the same. The human disguise's feet were covered by some kind of boot, but VERYYYY couldn't identify them because she was entranced by the art that danced across his skin. Thick, detailed chains wound around and shattered in various places around his arms, encircled his neck and presumably his torso, if the links leading down from his throat were anything to go by. 1. Hot F, Apple mumbled, squeezing up beside her. She put a finger in her mouth and chewed on it. Which, yeah, VERYYYY totally agreed. Not usually my thing, but he's more than welcome to join in to make a chocolate apple pie SHT. He's a coworker, that's inappropriate. Lauer Entz, the disguised demon stage manager sent by Asmodeus record label to watch over the show, deadpanned as he stopped by the 2 disguised succubi. He brushed his whack board off and went over the papers. 2 hours to showtime, Miss VERYYYY. Please get the crew all in guys and go over any last-minute alterations with my assistant, Fred Berger. Hey, Larry, I got the sandbags. Where do you want woo-ah-ah? A little potato of a demon slid by and hit the sound system, which then crashed down on him. A beat passed before his sickly green hand popped out of the wreckage. I'm okay. Lauer Entz hardly blinked at the chaos left in the wake. 3 hours to showtime. Fred, my office, 20 minutes. He walked off, leaving 2 stunned succubi in their place. VERYYYY overcame the sheer weirdness of the moment first, and then growled. Goddammit, I lost them. Goddammit, I lost them, Blitzo snarled as he lost sight of the disguised Duke. He struggled for a moment before raking a hand down his face. F me dry in my hot puckered hole. How lucky is this mothaf? How lucky is that mothaf? Some no-named human said to a friend as Naruto and Luna walked by, his arm over her shoulders as she searched on her phone for somewhere she wanted to eat. Naruto looked back at the staring teens over his shoulder with a smirk and then flipped the bird their way. If his tail were as it was supposed to be and not molded by magic to look like a spiked belt with a chain wallet, it'd be going full wriggle. As the jealous jerks were left behind, he looked back ahead as they meandered through the busy boardwalk near the concert venue. "What do you think of Logan's?" Luna asked. He liked her human disguise, very cute, and the loss of height only proved her youth to the rest of the non-hellhound folk. Her clothes seemed a bit baggier and the sneakers were an interesting touch, but she made it work. "Sounds like a bar." "That's a problem?" Luna asked, a dark brow arched. "Not for me." He shrugged and then grinned, a toothy display for anyone that happened to be looking. "People in bars tend to get funny ideas about me, though. I can only wonder why that is." "Sassy little goth girl." He leaned down to tease her covered ear with a swift breath, and pulled back with a laugh as she swiped at him. "F off," Luna growled before she fixed the hair he disheveled. He took a very subtle scent. People always got all weird about nostril flares, even back when he was one of them and relaxed. Still had a hint of the FBN vibe mixed with her vanilla sweetness. "Good. What made you go with the buzz goth look?" "I didn't exactly get a say in the disguise when I learned it," Luna drawled. "Porkies? Pretty sure that's a lust chain." He curled his lip at the thought and then looked back at her. "What do you mean you didn't get a say in the disguise?" "I learned it from the Gosha grimoire. It didn't exactly specify how to alter anything," she groused. "If I could, you would not be enjoying your arm rest as much as you are," she said, still snuggled up against him. He chuckled at the glare she sent his way. Weird how her face got red though. "Look, forget the dive bars, there's like a ton of street vendors here. Don't you want to try any of it?" There was some stir-fry nearby that was practically calling his name. "Yeah, thanks, but no. I'll be good without throwing up human garbage when I get home," she huffed as she closed the app on her phone. "Thing is useless. What else could we? What is that smell?" Naruto watched her eyes as they darted around, following her very poorly disguised scenting, before they locked on a white and red booth. Two individuals, a guy with shaggy hair and a shorter woman with a pixie cut, stood serving some kind of pastry to the masses. Both wore dark sunglasses that contrasted with their vendor attire. Naruto sniffed and sorted through the scents in the air. He chuckled once he narrowed down the scent she was attracted to. That, dear Luna, would be what the people call a funnel cake, not to be confused with a fried donut. Trust me, I've made that mistake before. The chewing out bee gave him for ordering her the wrong thing from a once-in-50-years bakery was not something he wanted to revisit. So, instead, he focused on his girlfriend and how she licked her lips. "That. We're eating that." Luna grinned and pulled him along. "Just to clarify, you want to use your one favor to have me buy you human food from a boardwalk?" He didn't particularly mind, just found it odd. Although it was a bit cute to find out she had a sweet tooth. Resolute red eyes rounded on him and he held a hand up with a shrug. "I'd do it regardless, but fine. Your favor." "DMN right?" Luna nodded and pulled him to the front of the booth. Unsurprisingly, the vanilla blended batter was what she demanded because hungry hellhounds do not ask. Perish the thought it to be made with, and the size she ordered was. Well, given how small Luna's human form was, it drew some attention when she walked over to a table with a supersized diabetes inducer. Naruto merely followed along, feeding himself on the taste of her good vibes, and watched her eat on the other side of the table. Money well spent, as the saying went. It was making out to be a good evening. Until it became apparent that a nearby group of teens had been watching them. One guy, Naruto, never learned his name. He just decided to call him Thaddeus Todrick Tuckerson. The third sauntered over and plopped down right next to Luna and threw an arm around her shoulders. If Naruto were any lesser demon, he'd be affronted by the act, possibly even downright murderous. As it was, he wasn't. He saw that the very second Thaddeus sat down, Luna's eyes snapped to the intruder, and a subsonic growl filled the air. "You want some help eating that, babe?" Naruto snorted. This guy thought he was that smooth. He should have gotten popcorn for the show. Oh, convenient. He tore off a pinch of funnel cake and blew Luna an embrace when she glared at him for the act. "Just remember, babe," he snickered the word out. Thaddeus seemed to at least pick up on the fact he was being made fun of if the scowl he gained was anything to go by. We're in public. Hey F you, dude. I saw you hanging off of this strong, independent female like you owned her. Who are you, her protective brother or something? You groom your sister, you sick F. Ooh, Mr. PC, excuse me for jostling your pearls. Naruto grinned, all teeth, as he pulled the funnel cake towards him a bit. Luna noticed. He just hoped she stayed pissed at Thaddeus the golden boy and tilted his head. You wanna do something about it? Bah, F this guy, babe. You can come join me and my Kree Uwa. Oh, the F. Beach, that's my F hair. Really? I couldn't F tell with all the F product in it. Luna drawled, her hands tugged on what some might call a flawless wave of honey blonde hair. She jerked him around for a second before she snarled. You wanna know where you F up? Beach. No, it was before that. Her eyes blazed and her vibes became rank with the hint of wrath that leaked from them. It was when you touched me without my consent. The shout almost echoed across the boardwalk. Thaddeus' group of friends all pulled their phones out, as did everyone else under the age of 30. Sans Naruto, mostly because he got a live view and thought it would ruin the moment, while one girl in the clique muttered the damning phrase, well, he's cancelled. But you're so hungry? Eat this, jackass. Luna slammed Thaddeus' face into the grate-like metal table and then yanked him out of the seat where he landed in a heap behind her. All while seated, too. It was actually kind of hot. Thaddeus' posse came over and helped him up. Yeesh, that's a lot of BLD. Luna didn't even hit him that strong. PP needed 2 linebackers to carry him to a medical tent, conveniently placed. When all was said and done, Luna pulled her meal back with a huff, glaring at Naruto as she did. Don't touch my food. I mean, I paid for it. She growled at him and he chuckled. All right, message received. Don't touch the garbage meal, you'll probably throw up later. F you. When and where? He immediately felt his face burn and looked away from her. F, that was super corny. He could not let her follow that up. To avoid such snark, odd that he hadn't gotten a rebuttal yet. And super weird that the FBN vibe tasted stronger, he pulled his phone out to snap a pic of her. She had her eyes closed and a small smile as she was mid-bite. Hey, Luna, say assault charges. HM? The flash told her immediately what happened, and she gulped down what was in her mouth. You butt. Huh, not bad, Naruto admired the picture with a smirk. Her human disguise really was pretty and very photogenic. He'd have to double up with her for a pic sometime today, but first he'd send B a copy of this one. Which he did, before he looked at the growling goth girl across from him. I think I'm going to post that on Voxtagram. You don't even have one. Luna grumbled around another bite. True, but I should make one. This could be my first post. It'd make him more approachable for smaller, shorter duration jobs and hopefully get the lust-filled jobs dealt with. Her eyes, though still narrowed, gleamed slightly and her scent gained a hint of approval. Maybe he shouldn't have said anything. Give me your phone. Yeah, that's not happening. Naruto deadpanned. She rolled her eyes. It's so I can make you an account, dumbass. I may have been born on a day, but it wasn't yesterday. No SHT. Look, I won't delete anything. Forgive me if I don't believe you. He pocketed his phone and leaned on the table to smirk at her, chin resting on his arms. There was a hint of disappointment in the air, but she'd get over it. Eat your cake, Luna. We've got a couple of hours before we need to head back down south to finish up the contract. Ah, this was a good idea. Beelzebub sighed as she relaxed in a bubble bath made of her own Beelzejuice. What? Don't judge, it was her own method of relaxation. She would lick all the toxins and ike out of her fur later. She sank down into the tub, the liquor just at the edge of her snout, and sucked just a little bit in. Her lips smacked. Needs salt. Tilda O-E-O-O-O-O-O-O-O a tilde 2 tilde O-E-O-O-O-O-O-O-O a tilde. Ugh, F-in, always whenever I'm in a soak. B rose up, stretched out and snagged her phone. She growled as her damp fur caused her face not to be recognized by the facial recognition software for several attempts. Finally, she gave up and forced it with Sin Magic, before going to the text that was sent. This better be effin' good, baby bro awa, she's adorable, Yes, she is my new favorite thing. A pic of her baby bro's gal pal in a human disguise eating one of her top 10 favorite fried doughy foods. Instant success. 10 out of 10. I'm so posting this on my Instagram sto. What the F is Voxtagram? They were walking away from the boardwalk, and Luna was way more satisfied than she'd thought she'd be. Funnel cakes would be the death of her, she was pretty sure. So good, but so sugary, but so good. That SHT was sinfully delicious, almost on par with gray stag meat. She was still licking some of the sugar from her claw fingernails when her boyfriend tapped her shoulder. Wahem, oh, an embrace while in disguise? Sure, Luna was down to try that. Besides, humans embrace all the time. Did they use that much tongue, though? Probably not. Okay, he's slobbering on her face. What the F? She put her hands on his chest, firm, strong, warm, nice, and pushed. Jeroff. Sorry. Naruto chuckled and licked his own lips. He tapped a spot by the corner of his human mouth. You had some powdered sugar there, and I was curious. So you decided to slobber on my face. Thanks, that's super hot. Very sexy. Luna scowled and opened the camera app on her phone to check her makeup. Was it smeared? Would her disguise's makeup smear? And now he was draping himself over her. Dude, clingy much? Luna wasn't meant to be clung on. Even if he was super warm and smelled really good and had a nice body for a human and FSHT, she liked it, didn't she? Goddammit, she needed a smoke to feel like she hadn't lost any credibility. Well, if it helps, it is in the top 5 things I've ever tasted. Sweet, like a vanilla latte. He chuckled into her ear. At least it was the exposed one this time, clever BSTRD. Ugh, his breath was literally hot, and she felt her face start to warm up. It's fine. They're just surrounded by a bunch of humans who don't know them and can see him hug her and rumble in her ear and oh boy. Ear nips are things, yep. Sure, totally normal things that humans do. As were kisses down the cheek and to the... Wow, was this what humans felt whenever they made out? Not bad. What was Luna thinking about again? Oh my, Harold, doesn't that remind you of our first days together? Back before you got lippy, yeah. Do yourself a favor and run now, kid. Oh, get a room. There are children here, you shameless F'ers. God, save these sinners. Dude doesn't have to shove his happiness down our throats. Like, what the F does he see in that WHR? Having enhanced hearing sucked. Mwah. Naruto grinned at her. His weirdly perfect human disguise, as in weird that it matched her expectations for what his human disguise would be, had a very Volpish grin. It just worked. Better? Luna didn't understand the question. Systems were still rebooting. Please hold on and try again. I'll take that as a YF. Huh, Luna could have sworn she had a boyfriend disguised as a human right here a second ago. Oh, there he is. On the ground. Clutching his arm, that was now red. That was a familiar metallic scent. Why did Naruto look like he was getting smaller? How was he doing that without moving? SHT, civilian hit. Collateral happens, bag her head. Yeah, and that was a bag on her head. Okay, what oh, her arms are restrained. Her head has a bag on it. What was that? Was that a needle? Trank administered. We've got the girl. Go. This is Agent 2, requesting immediate evac from Central Beach. Cargo is secure. Repeat, cargo is secure. Agent, a vehicle is en route. Take the next left. Right. Oh, when Luna got out of this sleep-a-time now. Emissive white voids snapped open at the sound of squealing tires. Naruto growled and glared at the BLD on his hand. He'd tagged the two tailing them the second they left the boardwalk and got to the parking lot. He'd figured they'd wait until it got darker out before they tried something, so he could lead them on a merry chase for a laugh. But sure, yeah, okay, use the cover of daylight to get away. That makes total sense. Amateurs, he saw their blacked out utility van drive away. If Luna doesn't kill you F'ers before I find you. He growled to no one in particular as he got back to his feet. He walked in the direction the assailants had driven off in. A concerned civilian came over and tried to offer him help. Get him to a hospital. Nice enough guy, weird pineapple-looking head though, strong too, took the punch like a champ. Reminded him of Shikamaru. Descendant, possibly. Not important. He sniffed the air. Gunpowder, cheap hand sanitizer, desperation, ambition, cheap laundry detergent, Luna, and funnel cakes. The funnel cakes. With a snarl that could have echoed across the state, the Duke of Gluttony pulled his hellphone out and dialed a number. Russ, it's me. I'm cashing in on a favor. I need a gate. A disguised hellhound was snagged by what I believe to be a human organization in front of me. Small arms, disguises, access to vehicles on call. Small time, either minor government on the world stage or just an underfunded department. Probably, we are in North America Southeast. Give your brothers my thanks in advance. No sooner than after he hung up did the ground crack as a hellish construct, unseen by mortal eyes, rose from the ground. A thick cloud of sulfur filled the air as it settled into reality. It was a massive gate, easily 3 stories high, with a series of warnings written in some ancient long-dead language settled around the lock, which was nothing more than an open circle one could see through. If any mortals witnessed the sight, they would forget it happened, lest they be driven to madness. The Lost Era, God's first draft, of the underworld didn't allow witnesses without special permissions. He had such permissions thanks in part to the word of the missing Queen of Hell. Naruto dismissed his human guise and tapped into the power deep within. His okeli burned through the patch of skin on his forehead, and his jaw split into fiercely strong mandibles. He held his left hand up and watched the fur from his fingertips to his elbow harden into a black chitin-like substance. Red ethereal chains started to pierce through cracks in the armor and wound around his arm, exactly as his human guise's tattoos rested on the skin. His mandibles clacked together before he pulled his hand back and plunged it into and through the lock. He roared as the abyssal forces of the Hell Gate pierced the hardened fur and coursed through his body. Otherworldly forces clouded the sky if one could be bothered to notice that when a literal monster fish started to attack a concert that a lot of people were mysteriously dying at while also getting really horny and a windless, rainless storm of lightning flashed overhead. Naruto ignored it and shrieked. His mandibles spread wide with his cry as his fur continued to harden across his body and more chains burst from the cracks along it as he grew to his current maximum of 20 feet. By the end of the partial metamorphosis to his true form, 9 stray strands of chain waved ominously around him. 2 thick linked lengths hovered over a shoulder each, 3 spiked strands rose above his waist and tail, and 1 more apiece dangled by his digitigrade ankles. All of this was done so he could survive the process of entering through the gates of hell, to pass through the forgotten and avoided corridors that even Lucifer himself knew nothing of. It was a last resort for most upper demons, given their own house seals could do the same thing, but better. For Naruto, however, it was a method to avoid tipping B off, as she could see whenever he used the seal of their house to go from place to place. The last thing hell needed was the demonic prince of sin on a binge, while the Duke of Gluttony went on a warpath. Finally, his resolve pushed through and the lock clicked open. He pulled his left arm out, the chitin armor gone, and the skin that once rested beneath was blistered, boiled and cooked and snarled as stepped through the crackling mists of nothingness. Well, that's interesting. Magenta lips pulled up into a smirk and sunglasses were adjusted. What are you up to, little legion of chaos? BLD dripped from his eyes, mouth, nose and ears as he reined the rebellious demonic power claimed as his own in. Can't do that again for a while, Naruto thought as his muzzle fused back together. He tore his shirt off and wounded around his slowly healing arm. He strode into the bowels of hell, the corners left unprotected, and the gate behind him disappeared. The vibes were not good, but they were not bad. They were just. They fueled him all the same and sped his healing. Well. A deep rumble came from a pocket of light in the distance. Look who it is. You've grown bigger. Has he? A sneered cackle followed. Strong to tell, he was always a little ant. Ruto, what took you so long? The last voice was more jovial. Naruto grinned as he came out of the vast abyss into a cavern of existence where the legendary 3-headed security guard stood. Easily 3 times his true form's height. The stature of Hell's Guardian was as intimidating naturally as it was impressive. The fur was a deep earthy brown and they dressed in military fatigues, sans the tunic, that strained against their chest. A large chain around the 3 necks held a pair of tags beside a badge-like pendant with the large Roman numeral for 1 carved into it. At his hip was a xiphos, held by a belt that bore the symbol for Omega at the clip. "Wash up, Lil Bretta." The rightmost head that resembled a black Labrador grinned. The aviator sunglasses over his green eyes were lifted up by the right hand and set atop his brows. The same hand gestured to a small campfire beside a large fold-out chair. A cooler rested by it. "Come on over and spill the tea, that's the saying, right? How's B doing? Still a sexy biatch? Still an ungrateful, unapologetic WHR?" The leftmost head, which resembled a green-eyed boxer, groused. The left fist clenched and unclenched around an opened bottle of Beelzejuice that had an old label on it. Like, at least 200 years old. "Enough, both of you." The central head, which looked like a one-eyed, scarred Belgian Malinois, growled at both of the others, before he glared his one green eye down at Naruto. "We're here for business, not to talk about our ex." "You never want to talk about our ex, Herb," the boxer growled. "Because the split was mutual, Serb." The scarred central head, Herb, deadpanned. "I didn't agree." "Bro, my gods, you said you didn't care, dude." The Labrador shook his head. "And you two just accepted it? I thought you effin' liked her, too, Russ." "I said enough." Herb's bark silenced the other two. He glared at Naruto. "You let a hellhound get snatched under your watch? Getting sloppy." "Probably. I haven't been able to properly train in 2-3 years." Naruto admitted after thinking about it. B had always managed to keep him busy, and he'd always postponed real training in deference to that of his untapped power. The last thing he did that even resembled proper combat was his and Luna's date in Gluttony. He shrugged. "Been busy with other projects, but I'm not here to get criticized." "Tough SHT." Serb and Herb snorted. The bottle-holding hand pointed at him. "You're overdue for assessment." "Well, this may have been a mistake." Naruto gulped. He was not excited by the prospect of sparring against one of, if not the oldest inhabitants of Hell, okay? Maybe a little excited, but he couldn't afford to right now. "Nah, come on, bros. He's used a favor." "Thank you, Russ, for your stupid but random moments of clarity." He grinned and it looked friendly, but Naruto knew it wasn't. "That means that this hellhound means something to our boy." "Oh, debasing yourself like your sister? Seeking quantity over quality?" Serb sneered. Naruto rolled his eyes and ignored the bitter vibes he radiated. Serb never got along with anyone, almost purposefully. "Dude, uncool," Russ scolded. "Herb, you gonna say an..." "Both of you, shut the F up." Herb snarled. The twin heads quieted again, and Herb held Naruto's gaze. "Who is she?" "Her name's Luna. Works for an imp-run assassin group, trying to get her to branch out. Decent in magic, Gosha magic." "Do you love her?" "As much as I love any of my friends." "Do you love her?" Herb reiterated, nostrils flared. At that, Naruto shrugged. That was an emotion he was sad to say he had a vague grasp on. The central head hummed, and the ancient guardian's arms crossed. "You care about her?" "Yes." "Willing to use a favor for her?" "Duh." "And you don't know?" "Does it matter?" Naruto argued around a growl. "Look, I don't think she's in serious danger, but humans are unpredictable, and government agencies are worse, I know." The central head nodded, and their right hand traced over the scar that claimed his sight in the adjacent eye. Herb huffed and glanced at his brothers. Russ nodded with a grin while Serb scoffed and took a swig from the bottle before he stared down at Naruto again. "What do you plan to do?" Blue eyes blazed a furious white and a hungry grin spread across his face. "I'm going to find out where these crashers like to hide and set up a party." Cerberus smiled across 3 faces, and his eerie green eyes shone bright. "All right, we're in." "Cool, I just have to do one thing first." "They're late." Tex frowned at his watch. He scowled and looked at the gathering crowd. "I knew this was a bad idea." "Yo, Vortex, well, consider him damned." The F-Jerkoff and Luna actually made it back. They both came to a stop, chests heaving slightly as if they'd run far. He sympathized. Human disguise limitations sucked. "Sorry about the late return. Someone got shot at the boardwalk. Had to take a long way around to avoid cops." "Why?" Tex frowned. "They'd only been on the surface for 3 hours." "F the police." Luna deadpanned. "All right, that checked out." She looked at her phone and nodded to the stage manager. "I'm watching them." Okay, text could work with that. He looked at Naruto, who seemed to don a professional face. All right, give me 20 bodies. I want 10 on the perimeter, 4 flanking me at the stage, 2 in the back, and the last with you backstage with her. Got it, Vortex. And don't call me that while we're on the job. No promises. That's the supernatural? Agent 6 hummed and tilted his head. I don't know, she just looks like a regular goth girl to me. That regular goth girl broke a prospect agent's face and threw him 5 feet from a seated position. With one hand, all while she remained seated. That didn't seem to impress anyone in the room, so Agent 1 sighed. She also finished off an entire diabetes inducer by herself. Soft muttering filled the room. That was a strong argument on its own. Add in the prospect of assault. Still, I mean, isn't this kind of against our orders from 2? Shut up, Agent 3. We're definitely not supposed to say names while at work, especially not his. All of you, shut up. Agent 5, if you, 3 and 6 can't stomach an interrogation, go join Agent 4 in arranging the cover story. 2, with me. Red eyes blinked as coherency came back to her. A flickering fluorescent light did little to illuminate the dark room she was in. Okay, so her enhanced sight, as per usual, was useless. The air was stale and tinged with dried bleach. 3, 4 days old, maybe. Some mold was growing in the pipes to her left. You're awake. Good. Ah, the dead walk and speak. Neat trick. Now all they had to do was walk into her line of sight. You have 5 seconds. Luna mumbled as she scanned the room for a visual. She strained against the ropes around her arms tight, well tied. Not straw or hemp. Smelled metallic. Didn't help that her arms felt like limp noodles before she sneered. 5. Don't even try it, girlie. That rope there is made out of carbon fiber. The speaker sounded male, somewhere in their 20s or 30s, oddly familiar said. Ugh, what? Carbon fiber? That was a pain in the butt. Who the F had carbon fiber rope on hand? We do. Still say it was the best use of a month's funds. Oh, another speaker. Cool. 2 corpses were in the room with her. This one was a female, the same age as the male, and also sounded familiar, odd, and totally worth the experiment in min-maxing snack time. I dunno, too. Agent 9 almost didn't make it. Hey, she got away from 7, didn't she? As F enthralling as your banter is, can we get to the point of why the F I'm here, tied up, and, oh, hey, yeah. She just remembered something that pissed her off. Her lip curled and her magically concealed hackles rose. Why the F you shot my boyfriend? Civilian casualties, 1. FU, 2. Never again. Finally, they stepped into her line of sight. Oh, great. F perfect. Men in black wannabes. Ugh, why? Why did this SHT happen to Luna? She blamed Blitzo. That seemed like a perfect idea at the moment. The male of the 2 dragged a chair loud, F-U, D-bag, you're dying neutered, over and sat down in it, arms crossed on the back. What? Are you? Pissed off. Luna deadpanned. Agent Dipstick huffed around a smirk and nodded. The beach moved forward an F, cattle prod. That's a F cattle prod. What the SHT? Luna didn't give them the satisfaction of screaming and held tight to her grasp on her disguise. Upside to magical gojo disguise, it only turned off when she wanted it to. Downside, they lacked a few defenses to help better blend in. That is, some scrapes that wouldn't do anything to a hellborn would leave a mark on the human disguise. What? Are you? Second verse, same as the first. Mothaf. Luna bit down on her cheek at another jab from the prod. SHT, that thing F hurt. She was ramming that F thing into this beach's throat. We know you're not human, you can ditch the cover. Agent D less to be offered. Luna huffed and glared at him. The F kind of base backwards logic. You broke a man's face slamming him into a table, not just his nose, his face. Agent Cattleprod rolled her thumb along the knob of the handle. Then tossed him a few feet behind you, while seated. SHT, could humans not do that? So, unless you're high on some kind of HRNE boosting PCP and you're not, we did the blood work. Which, by the way, came up only 7% human. Huh, Luna had human DNA, well, maybe from eating something or the magic disguise. Oh, wait, Agent D Lestaby was still talking. You're not fooling us. I won't ask again. Drop the disguise and tell us what you are. Oh, this is asking, Luna sneered. Sorry, I'm used to hearing F please and thank you. True, we could have started by asking nicely. That window kind of closed when you F-ers shot my boyfriend. Luna growled. Agents D. Lestaby and Cattleprod started to grin. What? Does he know you're not human? You dumb mothafs still haven't F-proven I'm not. Ah, Cattleprod. How Luna didn't miss you at all in her gut. Don't scream, don't scream, don't scream, huh? F you, torture weapon, you weak butt beach. She panted and doubled over, eyes clenched shut. She tested the rope still tight, damn it. These repetitive shocks were making it strong to feel her arms, and then spat to the side as she rolled her head back. F, Christ, that's the best you got. Well, she knows biblical references. Not an alien. Cattleprod hummed. Unless she was raised among us. D. Lestaby pointed out. He smirked at her and Luna sneered back. Won't you please tell us what you are? Oh, why didn't you just ask? Sure, you want to know what I am? Semir, I'll whisper it to you so you can lord it over your coworker. Luna smirked. There was no way this idiot was that F-stew, he is that F-stupid. Holy SHT, this planet was F with humans like this in positions of power. Ah, well, waste not an opportunity. What I am is F-hungry. She bit down on his ear and tugged. Strong. F, you beach, he screamed as he flung himself away and covered the bloody remains where his ear had been. Luna smirked and spat the organ to the ground in front of Cattleprod. She grinned, all teeth, at the shocked agent. Too gamey. Hey, you. Semir, maybe I'll like the dark meat more. F, that was her neck. There was no stopping the scream that time. 1 second 248 ugh, F Satan's mercies that SHT hurt. Well, plus side, by the end of today, Luna was going to have a high tolerance for electric shocks. That could be KNKY. She chuckled around her wheezes. Agent One-Eared scrambled to his feet and pulled a knife out from his jacket with his non-bloodied hand. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. You beach, I'll F-kill you. No, one, do not make me knock your butt out. Come on, we're going to medic. Cattleprod dropped her weapon on Luna's leg while it sparked. The beach, and led One-Eared D. Lestaby. I know, but we need her alive to increase our funding. F will be back, beach. F and make me wait for a good time. Luna sneered at their backs. The door slammed shut and she let her head hang. Her eyes squeezed shut and she let out a whine. F. F. That hurt. Stupid, F weak but human body. Another beat passed as she caught her breath and then tested her bindings. Looser. From the convulsions, her strength wasn't limited in disguise, so when she was getting shocked, Luna looked down at the discarded Cattleprod as the gears turned in her head. Her eyes squeezed shut again. F me. Luna whimpered and kicked the prod up to her lap. She carefully angled it up to grab with her mouth and used its length and her thighs to turn it around. She put her teeth on the trigger button and aimed the end at her exposed leg. This is going to FSCK. Well, did you salvage the ear? Medic asked too as he helped her get one on a gurney. It was only recently done, so I could salvage it. If no? She spat it on the ground. All right, some remedial stitching, then. Sorry, one, but hey, at least your codename will make sense. It made sense before that stupid beach ripped my ear off, you jackass. One snapped before he reached up to hold his head. FOSHT, I hope she's not a vampire or something. A daywalker? Well, there was that one case back in the 90s. Two muttered, thumb on her chin. Theorize later. Medic ordered as he started strapping one down. He offered a wooden spool with LTHR wrapped on it. Bite this. What about the numbing agent? You used that up on the cocktail vanilla funnel cake batter to knock last week's non-supernatural out. For the last time, Tu said through gritted teeth. The man had 4 arms. 4 arms, yes, most people have those. 1, really. Bite. Medic deadpanned. One glared at him with murderous intent but complied. Medic nodded and grabbed a sterile needle, gauze and alcohol. He looked at Tu. You may want to step out. This is going to get loud. Right. Tu huffed with a nod. She walked out of Medic's office and pulled the door shut with her. She leaned on the wall and waited. Agents on other assignments passed by, hushed in conversation. 2 watched her coworkers pass, kept an eye out for familiar faces and possible debriefs. Whoa, no way. Agent 11. She walked over to the teal-eyed blonde woman that came out of a nearby office with a smile on her face. 11 had been on a deep reconnaissance mission outside of the Catholic Church in Rome. Her team was looking for Nessie, who'd gone missing from Loch Ness about 3 months ago, and they were pretty sure the church had a hand in it for the past month. 11 stopped and looked up to see her. She blinked and then smiled. A chill went up 2's spine. Something wasn't. I never imagined someone might recognize Ino's face. Interesting. The hallway went dark. It was just 2 and 11. Whoa, when did 11 get in her face? And wow, that's a tight grip. Very tight, too tight, too tight. She had to make her stop before. I'll skip the platitudes. Where is the girl? L11, it's me, it's 2. She rasped around the grasp that Christ. Was 11 lifting weights or something? She was holding 2 up effortless. Oh, SHD, you're not 11. And the circle gets the square. Proud of you. Not 11's unpleasant, unnatural, wrong smile grew wide enough for the skin on her face to tear. Now, I won't ask again, where is the girl? 2 grabbed the wrist of the shapeshifter holding her and swung her legs up. A double kick to the face ought to do nothing. Oh, F. This wasn't some run-of-the-mill shapeshifter. That was a very, very poor decision. I'm so disappointed. You've been doing so well. 2 whimpered and gagged as the hand tightened around her neck. Then, the worst happened. No, she didn't die. That would have been preferred. No, a very unfortunate outcome happened, and if anyone had witnessed it, her reputation would never recover. She moaned. Rotting zombie Christ. Not 11 blinked. Her grip loosened. That's some KNKYSHT right there. Chance. 2 reached down to her belt and pulled out her butterfly knife. The blade was stabbed into Not 11's wrist, right where the artery would be, and BLD spurted onto their faces. Not 11 didn't react other than to open her hand in reflex nerves emulated human mapping. Good to know, and 2 dropped to the ground and scooted back. In F, 2 hacked and wheezed. She tried to force a warning, a shout, anything out of her mouth. When that continued to fail, she dug around in her pocket and tossed down a smoke bomb. 2 scrambled to her feet and fled, bursting back into Medic's office. Med PP? It was empty. Medic. 1. They were gone. Oh, a good call. I'm surprised again. When outmatched, seek help. Where quality fails, quantity may succeed. 2 whirled around to face the speaker. Her jaw fell open. Not 11 had vanished, and the shot partner of the supernatural in Interrogation Room B stood in her place. He held his wrist up and pulled the butterfly knife from his wrist. The BLD flow didn't appear to bother him. Now, normally, I just punch beaches and consider it done. But something tells me if I do that, you wouldn't learn. The young man grinned. His face started to shift. A very candid appearance overtook him. F. What the F? Was this a kitsune? Weren't those horny spirits? Maybe she could stuck. That was not a fox. Orange, yes, but not a Japanese fox spirit. That's like a F hyena werewolf thing. He was so too drooled. Fluffy. Rude. The hyena werewolf frowned and crossed his arms, big, strong, and meant to hug so delightfully tight. Here I am, trying to intimidate you with grade A psychological torment, which is not easy to do when it's not a F specialty. By the way, and you're getting horny? Seriously? What the F is wrong with you? Hey, nothing's wrong with me, you bigoted butt. What I enjoy in the comforts of my own mind and home are no one's business but mine. 2 snapped. Huh, her voice worked? Right, psychological torment. It was a psionic attack. And it wasn't his strongest suit. She smirked and put 2 fingers to either side of her head. But you're in my mind, huh? I can work with that. The door down the hall would be barred, and the supernatural in that room would be kept for further experimentation. A thick series of chains would crawl from the ground and ensnare her current supernatural foe. A barrier would surround her and protect her from all harm. All of the finest, strongest, and sexiest members of the armed forces would surround the supernatural with all sorts of weapons aimed at his body. They would take the fuzzy-wuzzy wolf man away, and she'd get to interrogate and cuddle him and love him and call him Jake. Ah, 2, what are you doing? Medic asked. Building up my mental defenses. Why? Ugh, doesn't this idiot see? 2 blinked. The lights were on. Medic and 1 were there granted. 1 was understandably knocked out, and there was a significant absence of anthropomorphic animal man in the room. She lowered her hands and frowned. What the F? Hey, is there a gas leak anywhere? No? Medic arched a brow and looked at the blunt in his hand. At least, I hope not. I was going to have a quick doobie. In here? It's hemp. It's not like it's dangerous. Fire, stupid. Right, so I was going to go outside and smoke. Checks. An alarm started going off and 2 frowned. What was wait? There was the pop. It's killing us. It's killing us with a cattle prod. Oh, God. Save me, Jeebus. Where the F did those effers go? I want my cut of meat. Ah, the supernatural girl they'd captured got out. SHT. The supernatural girl they'd captured got out. Welp, that's a lockdown for me. Medic hummed and slammed his fist into a red button. The door sealed and metal sheets dropped down around the room. He lit his blunt and took a drag. His voice tight, he held it out. You want a hit of this? Es good SHT. Got it from some demon dude at the beach earlier. Demon dude? 2 asked as she took the offered blunt. What? She was locked in the med bay. She wasn't going anywhere. Might as well do as Romans do. Yeah. One of those Veronica Mayday fanboys that take her succubus gimmick too serious. Dressed up like a little red imp with big horns. Great suit though. More screams and snarls came over the Come out, beaches. Don't you want to know what I am? Oh, God, please no, I have a Fami Aug. She's in the security office. Stop her. We need to keep these Oh, is this SHT important? Well, let's effin' wreck it then. No, wait, please. My Galaga save is on THAOG. Welp, they needed a new agent 6, 5, and 3 there was a faint boom and a fainter, muffled F, O, and a new security system. Preferably one with a remote backup. Shame that the investigation never turned up anything. Bet her blowing half of Congress had something to do with it getting SHT canned. Oh, that's just something the media made up to make ratings weak spicy. 2 scoffed. As if any self-respecting pop star would willingly give head to a bunch of old rich F for potential immunity down the line. Luna snarled from where she was cornered by a group of armed humans, one of which had some kind of sound-based weapon that kept throwing her off balance. She'd long since dropped her disguise, too really irritated to bother remembering why she needed to focus on it, especially after she wrecked the security room and went to town on the scrawny agents that were woefully unprepared for her assault. That all came to a head 5 minutes ago when the sonic Sonovabich blindsided her. Electricity, sure, hellhounds could tank a lot of it, her more so now than before, but sounds? Talk about a weak butt kryptonite. She curled her lip and growled at the 4 dipshits that slowly approached her. Come quietly, Werewolf Chan. We just want to examine you. Sunglasses were not meant to gleam like that. And the sniggering from 2 of the assholes on the right was downright F up. Luna growled and crouched down, prepared to jump and brandished her claws. The same speaker grinned. Oh, I love it when they fight back. Got him it? The sudden curse had Luna and her assailants look around. The lights in the room exploded before a familiar seal on the ground replaced the destroyed illumination. It reappeared on the ceiling, and then the walls. She relaxed as the voice that swore spoke again. She recognized it easily, and the seal only confirmed it. Though, she wondered why her boyfriend sounded so resigned with his next words. You're gonna love me. Did the disembodied voice just quote the dark Nai Aigt? A crimson chain ruptured through the agent's chest, splattered their fellows with their BLD. What the F? That was a lot of BLD that just exploded out from the crushed remains of that human. We gotta spawn. F, I didn't sign up to get offed by some Keith David wannabe. Who the F was? You, that's a visceral way to get delimbed. And a bit much. Like, too much? Wait, Luna just remembered how Naruto dealt with some of the gray stags on their date. All that remained was the sound blaster. He kept his weapon aimed at Luna. Where is it? I know you know where it is. Where is it? Luna blinked and tilted her head as she straightened up and relaxed against the wall. She smirked and crossed her arms. She watched Naruto emerge from the shadows of the dangling limbs and corpse to stand behind the one pointing the weapon at her. He met her gaze, looked down at the trembling last human, and looked back up. He gestured at the human, then her? What was? Oh, he's offering me the last kill. Sweet, but unnecessary. Luna waved him off. He could wrap this up. She was tired and wanted a smoke and a boop and maybe another funnel cake. Where is he? Why are you shouting? Naruto asked dryly. The agent whirled around and was immediately disarmed. Literally. The fox fiend grabbed the agent's head and twisted it 180 degrees around. Then, a claw poked the back of the head and the body dropped. Luna sighed as he came over and took her up in a hug, which she returned with her tail wagging on full blast. Deep sniffs parted her fur as he checked her for injuries. You okay? Your coat smells off. Cattle prod. Might be some light burns and nerve damage. These effers are getting off too lucky. We'll get you checked out back home. No hospital. Ah, good, he learned. He went back to scenting her for other injuries that may exist under the BLD on her coat while she did the same. The arm he was shot in had a faint hint of gunpowder, but otherwise seems fine. His other arm, on the other hand, smelt off. Why do you smell like cooked meat? She asked. Did he stop and get food or something? No, there was an absence of the greasy tang that accompanied food. Long story, called in a favor to get back down below and back to make clones without tipping Tex off. That didn't really answer her question, but anything else she was going to say was cut off as his rumble started and he tilted her chin up to meet him. Ah, blissful boop, oh, a embrace? Yes, please. Luna moaned into his mouth and let her tail go nuts. Moi. She panted as the embrace broke all too soon. His claws raked up and down her back and he scented into her hair. She hummed and scented his neck. Violet and coconut, along with a hint of deep earth. No, that was underworld and sulfur. Huh, whatever route he used to get here was different than anywhere she'd been. Still, that begs the question. You couldn't get here sooner. I knew you could handle yourself. Which, yeah, she could, but to a point. Had to first make sure Tex had his clones, then find your scent again. Then set some party favors around the place so these Chuckle F would learn from the mistake. Party favors? She stared at him, hoping he'd elaborate. He did. Bombs, I set bombs. You've got a thing for explosions? It was a little concerning. Got a thing for you, too. The rumble that accompanied those words made her feel warm all over. His right hand grazed her spot slightly, and while Luna liked the sound of some more heavy petting, she'd rather he pick up on her unasked question. She kept staring up into his eyes, and silently implored nope, okay? She'd let this one slide. Cute. Why do you have a thing for explosions? Well, when you've grown up making them. I take it that I'll get a story about that. Yeah, I think you've earned it. He kissed the top of her head and walked her to a portal that opened on a nearby wall. Come on, let's go check in on the clones before we head home. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 5. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author BonesBoy15 on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.